Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. Here it is, October already. October 1st, 2023. In deciding which programming we're going to select for that week's broadcast, there are a lot of factors at play, but one of the important ones is that if a program is a serial, that each episode not be separated by too many weeks in between. Keeping that in mind, we begin with the second episode of Jerry of the Circus. But of course we have new programming too. We follow Jerry of the Circus with a new series entitled Father Knows Best. You've probably heard of it. It was a television program also. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Next we return to Fort Laramie. We have the Great Gildersleeves for comedy, followed by Dr. Kildare, Dimension X, and then closing tonight's program with Mail Mystery. Let's get started.
Jerry of the Circus. Now for Jerry of the Circus.
Well, why don't you go out in front, Jerry?
But, Bumps, I want to watch from here tonight.
Well, you won't see much of the show. The pad room's a pretty busy place.
Pad room?
That's what we call this tent. The performers always wait here until it's time for their act.
Oh, kind of a waiting room, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Then when we have a quick costume change to make, well, we do it right here.
Well, if I'm not in the way.
Oh, you can stay here if you want to, Jerry.
Aw, gee, just to see you all going out and hear the music and be close to the animals and all that.
Dig your toes into the old sawdust, it gets into your blood, doesn't it, Jerry?
How'd you know?
Say, listen, Jerry, what do you think I followed this crazy business for? Money? Say, I could make twice as much in vaudeville or a show in New York and live like decent folks.
Oh, but then you wouldn't have the animals and the traveling.
And the smells and the sleeping every night on a lumpy bed and sometimes no bed at all, huh? Yeah. But, Jerry, I wouldn't give up this life for the grandest bed in the world.
They're coming in now. Look at them scramble for the front seat.
Yeah, it looks nice and clean now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It won't last long.
Oh, Bumps, I wished I really belonged.
Oh, you'll think you belong soon enough. Wait till your arms ache from lugging heavy pails of water, and you don't have time to catch the show for weeks, maybe months.
The band's going in.
Yeah. Oh, hello there, Jim.
Hi, Bumps. Looks like a red one tonight.
I guess so. Mr. Randall said the midway was packed. Hey, now watch your dog there, Jerry.
Oh, he's all right. Always stays right by my feet. Gee, I wish someday I could do traps in the band.
Oh, you want to double in brass already, huh? Well, maybe Slim will teach you one of these days.
Oh, who's that beautiful girl?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that little dark-haired girl.
Yeah.
Say, she is pretty, isn't she? Now, that's Patsy.
What does she do?
Why, she's the youngest trapeze artist being starred in the business today. Great future, that little girl.
She's got the prettiest eyes.
Yeah, and she's a mighty nice girl, too. Well, there it goes. The parade will be starting. Now, remember to keep out from underfoot, Jerry.
Sure I will.
Yeah, I got to do my walk around on the head of the pageant. Well, so long, boy.
So long, Bumps. Aw, gee, Rags, isn't this swell? Rags! Rags! Rags, where are you?
If you're looking for that dog, he followed Bumps into the ring.
No, not into the main tent.
That's where he went.
Oh, gee, what'll I do?
I thought it was a new act Bumps was putting on. The dog crept along behind Bumps just as quiet.
No.
Come on, let's look through this flap.
Oh, gee.
Can you beat that?
A little mutt. Rags, come here. Gee, Bumps is trying to send him back.
Look at him. As soon as Bumps turns around, the dog sneaks back after him on his tummy. Where did he ever learn to sit on a foot and hang on like that? Look.
A little mutt.
Every time Bumps kicks him off, he does a complete somersault and gets back on Bumps' big shoes again.
He used to do that with Dad all the time.
Here comes Bumps now. Quick, as soon as he pushes the dog through the curtain, grab him.
Okay, I'll get him. Golly, Rags sure likes an audience. Oh, gee, do you think we'll get fired?
Here he comes now. Quick.
Rags, jump.
Say, that's not a dog. It's a kangaroo. Where did he ever learn to jump like that? He flew through that curtain like a shot out of a cannon.
Rags, you little mutt, you. Shh, quiet, boy. Gee, Rags, why'd you do it?
Oh, the cute thing putting his paw over his eyes. He knows he's been naughty.
I should think you would be ashamed. You're a bad, bad dog.
Oh, poor thing. He's begging you to forgive him.
He'd better. Want us both to get fired, don't you, Rags?
He's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, peeking behind your paw. Think we can't see you, huh?
Where did he learn to hide his head like that?
Oh, that's nothing. He knows a barrel of tricks. Well, come on, Rags. I guess we'd better get back to the tent.
I'll walk along with you for a ways. I don't go on for a while. Kind of like that dog of yours, don't you?
Kinda. Say, he's all I got.
Your name's Jerry, isn't it?
How'd you know?
Oh, Bumps was telling me about you tonight in the mess tent.
Your name's Patsy, isn't it?
How'd you know?
Bumps was telling me about you tonight in the pad room.
You know, your dad was a good friend of my father's. Your name's Dugan, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've often heard Father talk about Danny Dugan.
Danny Dugan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not my dad, but I got an uncle by the name of Danny Dugan.
Oh, he was a big game hunter, wasn't he?
Yeah, one of the best. Say, he got wild animals for pretty near all the circuses.
I know. Father used to talk about what a wonderful marksman he was.
Before Dad died, he was trying to locate Uncle Dan.
Locate?
Yeah, he disappeared about 5 years ago, and nobody's ever heard of him since.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe my father has. I'll write and see. I know he knew Danny Dugan awfully well.
Gee, you will?
Mm-hmm.
That's swell. You know, Uncle Dan's the only relative I've got. Rags, get away from that entrance. Want to get stepped on by an elephant?
Well, I guess I'd better get back to the pad room. See you later, Jerry.
So long. Come on, Rags. Well, Rags, old scout, think you're going to like this circus life? All right. I'm talking to you. I want to know how you like circus life. Well, that's better. But let me tell you one thing. You won't stay long if you pull any more monkey shines like you did tonight. Go on in, Rags. I'm following you.
Hello there, pup. Well, aren't you a friendly little thing? Where on earth did you come from? Well, a boy, too.
Hello.
Does the boy go with the dog?
He sure does.
You're not looking for a nice new master for this animal, are you?
I should say not.
Well, that's a pity. I'd like to adopt him.
Guess you'd have to adopt me too, mister.
Well, I might manage the dog, but I don't know as I could smuggle a boy along, too.
Yeah, I am pretty big.
My name's Decker. What's your name, son?
Jerry? Something wrong?
No. Why?
You look so funny.
Did I? Sorry. Jerry. Jerry. Nice name, Jerry.
The dog's my buddy. His name's Rags.
Rags. Well, Rags, old boy, give me your paw. Good. He's got nice manners, too, Jerry.
Sure, I trained him.
You did? Well, it looks like you did a good job.
Uh-huh. Well, Dad helped me.
Oh, of course. That's what dads are for. You live in this town?
Not anymore.
No?
No, I'm joining the circus.
Oh, you don't say. Does Mr. Randall know about it?
He sure does. He hired me.
Oh, swell. Then I guess I won't have to smuggle you and Rags along after all, huh?
You see, Dad was a friend of Mr. Randall's, and...
Oh,
Well-
so your dad's coming, too. Well, that's...
No, Dad died just last week.
Oh, I'm sorry, son.
He left me a letter from Mr. Randall, and, well,
That's fine. Well, Jerry, it'll be mighty nice having you along this season.
Yeah.
Sure. And you too, Rags. Yes, sir. I certainly didn't mean to leave you out. Kind of sensitive, that dog, huh, Jerry?
He sure is. Lots more than folks.
Than some folks.
Oh, sure, I didn't mean you.
I wonder why you and I like animals so much, Jerry.
'Cause they like us, I expect.
Of course. They just think we can't do anything wrong.
We're always tops with them, aren't we?
You betcha.
And even after we've had to scold them, they'll come up for a pat or a kind word.
Pretty real kind of love, isn't it, Jerry? But I didn't mean exactly that.
What did you mean?
You know, Jerry, I like even the wildest and most dangerous animals we have in this circus.
Gee, do ya? I'm crazy about wild animals myself.
I don't know why, but I'm never afraid of them. Not a bit.
Me neither.
Have you ever been around wild animals before, Jerry?
Well, no, but still, I just know I wouldn't be afraid.
That's the ticket, son. The minute they know you're afraid, well, you're done for.
Can they tell?
Sure they can.
Gee.
Why, it's like an instinct. Just like we smell things, they sense fear.
Golly, almost like mind reading, isn't it?
Well, I never thought of it like that, but maybe you're right, Jerry.
Decker!
Yes, Lorenz?
Bring those knives and hurry up. Our act goes on next.
Coming. I am absent-minded. Sorry, Sonny. I gotta run along. I'll see you later. Bye, pup.
Bye.
Wait a minute, Lorenz. I'll walk over to the main tent with you.
Daydreaming again, I suppose. Got the knives?
Here they are.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, that little freckle-faced boy that's sharing the wagon with us. He's a cute kid.
Cute nothing. And as for that nasty dog of his, he snapped at me and bit my wrist this afternoon.
Why, that's funny. He seemed friendly enough to me.
You think? Listen, that cur dog was snooping around my prop box, and I will not take that from anybody. I pushed him off, and he leaped at me, snarling. I never did like dogs, and I'm not going to have a vicious animal hanging around any wagon I dress in.
Oh, but Lorenz...
I got it all fixed. I've just put some poisoned meat under the wagon, so for the first time that dog goes out, he'll smell the meat, eat it up, and go away and die someplace. He'll be Snoopy for the last time. Lorenz one smart fellow. What you think?
Lorenz, you can't do that.
Why not?
Well, that boy worships this dog.
Yeah, well, I don't. And you keep out of this, see?
But
Listen, Decker. I've kept you out of plenty of trouble. If it wasn't for me, you'd spend the rest of your life in jail, and you know it.
I know, Lorenz. And I appreciate it. But after
All
all,
right, then. When this dog is found dead, be sure you keep your mouth shut.
Ladies and gentlemen, from time to time, radio programs of vastly individual and divergent types are presented to advertising agencies, sponsors, and the broadcasting networks, each of them striving to achieve a definite and conclusive effect. There is, for example, the Mystery Show. Programs of this sort are presented for thrills, suspense, intrigue. Then there's the Comedy Show.
Hey, Louie, here's one that'll kill you. Why did the chicken cross the aisle? You give up? 'Cause it was a cross-aisle chicken.
Programs of this sort are presented for laughs, for rib-tickling mirth, for genial good fellowship. The program you're about to hear, Father Knows Best, starring the eminent actor, Mr. Robert Young, is presented for the next 30 minutes. In an average town, Springfield, on an average street, Maple, lives an average American family, the Hendersons. The husband, Jim, is very much in love with his wife, Margaret, and they're both quite fond of their 3 children, Betty, Bud, and Kathleen, which I should say is an average way for parents to feel. On this particular morning, which is an average sort of day, the Hendersons are ready for an average sort of meal, breakfast. Well, they're supposed to be ready, but you know how it is. The average mother calls,
Jim, your breakfast is on the table.
and the average answer is,
Mother, I can't find my skate. Kathleen, come in and start your breakfast.
Oh, breakfast. Don't you understand, Mother? This is a crisis. How can I go to school without my skates?
Eat your breakfast, dear, and we'll look for the skates later.
Oh, but I have looked for them. I've looked just every place. They simply varnished.
Vanished, Kathy. Did you look in the hall under the telephone table?
Mother, that's practically the first place I looked.
Well, how about the service port?
They aren't there. They aren't anywhere. Oh, what am I going to do?
You're going to eat your breakfast. I'll run out to the garage and see if you left them there. And don't use too much sugar on your cereal.
Look way in the back, Mother, near the magazines. Oatmeal. It's all you ever get around here is oatmeal. Never mind, Mother. Daddy found them.
Who left those skates on the stairs?
Good morning, Daddy, dear.
I want to speak to you, young lady.
What about Daddy?
Skates. How many times have I asked you not to leave your skates on the stairs?
Oh, is that where they were?
Oh.
Golly. I looked simply everywhere and I couldn't find them.
Good morning, dear. Did you have a nice... Jim! What did you do to your chin?
I came down the stairs on it.
Let me see. Oh, Jim, your poor chin.
Isn't it wonderful, Mother? Daddy fell down the stairs and found my skate.
I did not fall down the stairs.
Please, Jim, hold still. How can I fix your
I will
chin?
not have that child telling people I fell down the stairs. I tripped over her confounded skates. Is that the only place she can find to leave them?
Well, she's very sorry, dear, aren't you, Kathy?
Oh, sure. Daddy.
Not now, Kathy. Have some coffee, Jim. It'll make you feel better.
Other people have children and they have skates. But other people have discipline in their homes, old-fashioned discipline. The kind of discipline we had in my home when I was a boy. There was a place for everything and everything in it.
Hey, Mom.
I'm sorry, dear. We'll try to do better. What is it, Bud?
I can't find my other shoe. Where'd you put it?
Look under the dresser.
Okay.
Is that where you generally put his other shoe?
Sometimes. How do you want your eggs this morning, dear?
Daddy,
I don't care.
I was just wondering...
Kathy, this is a very bad time to bother your father. We'd better let it go for a while. Shall I scramble them, Jim?
Oh,
Yeah,
but it's
that's not-
important, Mother. It's the most important thing in my life.
What is?
It's really nothing, dear.
All
It's-
right, Kathy, stop looking like Ingrid Bergman and tell me what it is.
I need $2, Daddy. I'm desperate.
$2? What for?
Wings.
What did she say, Margaret?
She said wings.
That's what I thought. Why does she need wings?
I have to be an angel. I told them I would. I just have to be. And they cost $2.
It's the school play, dear. Kathleen said she'd be an angel.
Well, I can see they're certainly not casting the type. Kathy, you get an allowance, don't you?
If you can call it that. A quarter.
When I was 9 years old, I had to work for every penny I got. I couldn't walk up to my father and say, I want $2 for wings.
Were you an angel?
I most certainly was not.
Well, then, you didn't need wings. But I promised I'd be an angel.
All right, then find a way to sprout wings without my $2.
Oh, but Daddy, I'll be just ruined. Oh, Mother, can't
We won't
you?
discuss it any further, Kathy. Your father knows best.
How will I face them without wings? They were counting on me.
Morning, everybody. How's it? What happened to the squirt?
Oh, just a minor tragedy. Drink your orange juice, Bud.
Say, Dad, I was just thinking...
Bud, not now. Let your father read the paper.
But I was just going to tell him
Not
about...
now, dear, please.
Well, but I have to. Gosh, how much time have I got left?
You don't mind if I get in on this, do you? How much time for what?
Well, Dad, we're going on a picnic tomorrow. A whole bunch of us.
Fine, have a good time.
He can go on picnics, and I can't even have wings. You treat me like an orphan around here. Nobody even loves me.
Oh, Kathy, stop being dramatic. Everyone loves you.
Sure, but not $2 worth.
Kathleen, your brother's not asking for $2. Your brother's not asking for anything.
Except permission to use the car.
Except permission to use... Except what?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. You see, we're all going out in the country, and I told everybody...
You're not going to use the car.
Oh, but, Dad, if I don't, how am I going to go?
You have a bicycle, haven't you? When I was your age, I was traveling all over the state on my bicycle.
With a girl? How can I take a girl on a bicycle?
Jim, I just thought
One moment, Margaret. James Henderson, Jr., you are 15 years of age, and young men 15 years of age do not go traipsing around the country with girls in my car.
But everybody else does, Dad. I mean, they get to use their father's car. Joe Phillips uses his father's car, and he's 2 months younger than I am.
I wouldn't care if he was 3 months younger and had wings. You may not have the car.
Bud, you know your father doesn't approve of children driving automobiles.
Children? If I want the car, I'm too young. If I want to go to the circus, I'm too old. I wish somebody around here would decide how old I am.
We've decided you're too young. Now, that'll be all of that.
I'll be an outcast. That's what I'll be. I'll be poisoned with every hunk of date bait in the school. Me and a bicycle.
Bud, you better eat your eggs before they get ice cold.
What a time to think about eggs. Dad, how would it be if
No.
But I was just going to...
No.
But you don't even know...
No. Whatever it is, no.
Oh, fine. The way I'm treated around here, you'd think I was an orphan.
Copycat, I said it first.
Quiet, Squirt.
Kathy, leave your brother alone and finish your milk.
But I did say it first, didn't I, Daddy? I said it first and Bud heard me, and he's an old copycat.
I am not. I wasn't even listening to you.
You were, too. You heard me say it, and then you said it, and you're an old copycat.
I am not.
You are so.
I am not.
You are so.
Quiet, both of you, quiet. Oh, Margaret, why can't we ever have a peaceful breakfast in this house?
I'm sorry.
I don't think it's asking an awful lot. When I was a boy, we had wonderful breakfasts, quiet breakfasts, peaceful breakfasts. We had respect for our elders.
Sure, but you didn't have a kid sister like the brat.
I'm not a brat.
You're a brat if I ever saw one.
I am not.
You are so.
I am not.
You are so.
Quiet!
Good morning, Mother. Good morning, Father.
What's the matter with her?
Too late.
I know. I was looking out the window at a bird. It was sitting on an egg.
How'd you ever tear yourself away?
Dear Bud. Such a lovable little moron.
Betty, dear, you sound so strange this morning. Is anything wrong?
Wrong. Oh, Mother, how can you even say that? In this lovely, wonderful world, how could anything be wrong?
Hey, Pop, you better hide your wallet. This one's gonna be a pip.
Father, if you don't do something about
Betty,
that
if you
child...
don't mind, I believe I can manage my family without your assistance. Kathy,
Yes, Daddy.
as your father, I'm quite capable of handling my own financial affairs. It may be a strain, but I can manage.
Yes, Daddy.
And I would prefer that even in moments of stress, you refrain from addressing me as Hey Pop.
Okay, Daddy.
Finally, I believe I am as well qualified as you to recognize the devious routes employed by your sister in leading up to the announcement that she needs a new dress.
That's telling her, Pop.
What?
I mean, Daddy.
You're all very amusing, but I don't need a new dress.
Dear, are you sure you feel all right?
I feel fine.
Betty, you don't want any money?
No, Father, why?
You don't want to borrow the car?
Of course not.
Well, at least there's one sensible child in this family. Betty, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir. What this country needs is more children who leave their fathers alone at the breakfast table. I think I'll have another cup of coffee, Margaret.
All right, dear. There you are.
Thank you. Well, Betty, what's the good word in your little world?
Oh, just the most wonderful thing has happened, Father. I'm going to be married. Jim, hold your arms up over your head quickly, Bud. Hold on back.
What for? What happened?
Don't stand there. Do something. Do you want him to choke to death? Jim!
I'm all right, actually.
You're going to be fine, Ted. Just fine.
Well, stop beating me on the back or I'll never be all right.
Oh, but Mother told
I did
me...
not tell you to break your father's spine.
Well, you told me to pound him.
With your hand, not your books.
Bud, you're going to be late for school.
I get it. Come on, Kathy.
Come on, where?
You're going to school.
I don't have to leave for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's what you think.
Hey, stop pulling me, you brute.
See
I
you
have
later,
to get
everybody.
My Mother!
All right, Betty. Now, what was that newsy little item you dropped into the middle of my coffee?
Oh, you mean about getting married. Isn't it wonderful?
Margaret, did you know anything about this?
Not a word, Jim. I still don't. Betty, you're joking, aren't you?
Joking? Mother, do you think I joke about the most sacred thing in a woman's life?
Jim, she isn't joking.
That's right. Betty, you wouldn't mind giving us a little more information, would you? You know, just in case we want to get in touch with you later.
I don't know what you mean, Father.
Well, just for a start, who is it?
Who's who?
The boy, my prospective son-in-law. What's his name?
Billy. He's wonderful.
Oh, Betty, not Billy Smith.
Just wonderful.
Which one is he?
Oh, you know, Jim, the one who hates football players, the one Betty thinks is aesthetic.
Aesthetic? The one I think it is, that's a new way of spelling anemic.
Billy's delicate. You have to be delicate if you have a beautiful soul.
Well, that's exactly what this family needs, somebody with a beautiful soul. Margaret, I have to get down to the office. Explain to Betty that she'll be happier if she waits. Make certain, you know, the usual woman-to-woman talk.
All right, dear.
Oh, you don't have to worry about us, Father. Billy and I talked it all over last night, and we both decided against a hasty marriage. We intend to wait.
That's fine. I'll be home at the usual time, dear.
All right, Jim.
We're not going to be married until Saturday.
If you... Saturday?
Uh-huh. Saturday night. We were going to make it in the afternoon, but we decided to go to the basketball game first.
This is an emergency. Put your hat down.
I'll put more than my hat down. Betty, this is the most ridiculous piece of conversation I've ever heard.
Father, you mean you don't approve?
Now, there's the first intelligent remark you've made since you got up. I most decidedly don't approve.
But I don't understand. You've always liked Billy's father.
You mean Hector Smith? Of course I like Hector Smith. He's one of my best clients. Why don't you marry him?
But he is married.
Betty, your father and I have always thought
Just
that
a moment, Margaret. I'll handle this. Betty, you're 17 years of age. You're in your first year at the university. You will not marry Billy Smith or anyone else until after your graduation. That's final.
Graduation? But that's 3.5 years. I'll be over 21. Why, the best years of my life will be gone.
Well, darling, we can always have Bud push you up to the altar in a wheelchair.
You're laughing at me, and I think you're horrid. You're just old-fashioned, both of you. You've forgotten what it is to be young and in love. You don't seem to understand that things are different now.
Oh, Betty, nothing's any different. Things like that don't change.
They do, too. Things change all the time. People change, customs change, everything changes, only you won't admit it.
Oh, darling, why don't you listen to your father? Things are no different now than they were when we were your age. The young people wore different clothes and they sang different songs, but fundamentally they were the same, and even then boys and girls didn't rush headlong into marriage. Not until they were ready for it.
You bet they didn't. They listened to their fathers. They were willing to benefit from a lifetime of experience. Why, when I was courting your mother, I remember when...
How old were you when you married Father?
Well,
Yes, Mother.
I was 17.
But that was different.
Why?
Well, because things were different in those days. The people were different. The times were different.
You said they weren't.
Well, they were. Some of them were. Some of them weren't, and some of them were. Only the ones that weren't were more than the, Margaret.
Betty, don't you think it would be a nice idea if Billy and his family were to have dinner with us tonight?
Oh, Mother, would you? Really?
Margaret, I don't want the Smiths for dinner tonight or any other night. I think the idea of a dinner for the Smiths is not only ridiculous, but unnecessary. I forbid the marriage, and that's that.
Oh, Jim, you know you like having people in for dinner. The Smiths are very pleasant, and you might be able to sell Hector some more insurance.
Yeah, that's right. I might have that. But look, Margaret, I'm going to have a tough day at the office. I couldn't take a dinner tonight. Let's make it next week. Next month.
Dear, we can't put it off for even a day. I'll call the Smiths and see if they can make it. Shall I tell them dinner will be at 7:30?
7:30? What's the matter with 6 o'clock? I'll be starved by 7:30.
Jim, it just isn't done.
Well, it's going to be done tonight. We'll have dinner at 6.
I'll ask them to be prompt, dear, at 7:30.
And, Mother, can we dress? I mean, can I wear my new dinner gown? Can I, Mother? Oh, please, can I?
Betty, there will be no dressing for dinner.
But, Father, Mother, please.
I'm sorry, darling. You know I never contradict your father. After all, your father knows best.
It's been a long day for the Hendersons. The specter of a fair young child, married and gone before her time, has hung like a pall throughout the day. It would have, that is, if the Hendersons hadn't been so busy. Jim, you see, had a hectic day at the office.
6? Why, you robber, how about the 2 strokes in back of that tree? And don't tell me those snakes followed you over from the last hole.
At the office. Bud has been involved in the intricacies of a higher education.
But, Margie, it's healthful riding on a bicycle. Why, look at all the fresh air you'll get and the beautiful muscles. We could even... Margie? Hello, Margie? Hello?
Kathy has been involved in serious plans for the future.
What do you mean they don't take girls in the Foreign Legion? I'll bet they do, especially without wings. You just wait, you'll see.
Margaret? Well, Margaret has been very busy cooking an extra special dinner for the Smiths. And if there's one thing Margaret can do, it's cook.
Yes, sir, Margaret, if there's one thing you can do, it's cook. That's what I always say.
You see? Now we can proceed. Proceed.
Thank you, Hector. Would you care for another piece of pie?
Oh, Margaret, please, I've already had 2 helpings.
You have 3.
Kathy. How about another cup of coffee, Heck? Nothing like a cup of Margaret's piping hot coffee.
Well, if you insist.
Hector?
I guess I'd better not, Jim. You know how it is. Doctor's orders.
Oh, sure. Well, how about you, Doctor?
Thank you, no. 1 cup of coffee is quite sufficient.
Well, I'm a 2-cup man myself. You know, I was reading just the other day about a fellow
Jim, it's not that we don't enjoy your informative little talks, but I was under the impression that this dinner had, well, shall I say, a more or less definite purpose.
Oh, you mean... Oh, sure, absolutely. You know, I had a long talk with Heck before dinner.
Jim, dear, I hate to interrupt, but don't you think it would be a good idea if Bud took Kathy to the movies?
In the middle of the week? I certainly do not. Oh, I see what you mean. Bud, how'd you like to take Kathy to the movies?
Oh, boy.
I wouldn't. I can't think of anything I'd rather do less.
Well, that's fine. Here's $1. Have a good time.
Oh, Dad, do I have to?
Yes, you have to.
That'll be enough of that, Kathy.
But I'm surprised. You ought to be glad to take your sister to the movies.
I'd rather go with a gorilla. You don't know what she's like. She never even looks at the picture. She sits around backwards and stares at the people.
They're funnier. I like to look at their faces.
All right, Bud, get going and come home right after the show.
If I'm still alive. Good night, everybody. Come on,
Hey,
Stuart.
stop pulling me. Why do you always have to pull me?
Lovely children.
They mean well, I think.
Mother?
Yes, Betty?
Mother, Billy and I have been talking, and... Billy, you tell them.
Would it be all right if we went to the movies?
Oh, no. Oh, I should say not. We're here for a purpose, a very definite purpose.
Yes, sir.
We have a problem to discuss, and we're going to do it right now.
Frankly, I think the whole thing is idiotic. Imagine discussing a ridiculous subject like marriage with these children.
We're not children, Mother. We're quite adult. We have adult minds, adult bodies, adult passions.
William!
Elizabeth, as I said before, Hector and I had a long talk just a little while ago. Right, Heck?
Right.
And we're in complete agreement on the subject, right?
Right.
We both feel that open discussion is the only sensible procedure in a matter of this sort, right?
Right.
Hector, stop being so agreeable.
Right. I mean, yes, dear.
Myron, Elizabeth, Hector and I have agreed on what we consider a very sound solution to the entire problem. We have decided to permit Betty and Bill to be married immediately.
Jerry!
Holy cow!
I've never heard anything so outrageous in my entire life. Hector, get your hat. William, we're leaving this instant.
I'm not going, Mother.
As soon as William!
I'm 18, Mother. I've got a mind of my own. I love Betty, and we're going to be married.
Well, I never.
All right, now that's settled. You're going to be married.
Oh, Mother, isn't it wonderful?
I don't know.
Yes, sir. Nothing like marriage and responsibility to set a man straight. Where do you kids figure on living? After you're married, I mean.
Oh. Well, we sort of figured we'd move
Mother,
in.
couldn't Kathy move in with Bud? Then Billy and I
That's
could have
ridiculous,
her.
Betty. You've got to have a home of your own, a place for your roots to take hold and grow. Right, Heck?
Right. Well, gosh, that'd be kind of expensive. And on my allowance...
Oh, don't worry about your allowance, Billy. Married men don't go around taking allowances from their fathers.
They don't.
Of course not. They're too proud to be supported by their fathers.
I'm not.
Of course you are. You'll work, you'll sweat and slave, but you'll come home every week with a juicy pay envelope for your little wife.
Isn't that sweet?
But I don't know how to do anything.
That's not so. Poets make a living, and Mother, he writes the most beautiful poetry.
I'm sure he does, dear.
Billy, recite the one about my hair. It's just wonderful.
Oh, Betty.
Well, it is. Raven tresses on a lofty brow, swept by the winds of time. Isn't that beautiful?
Well, you could get a small house, poet size.
Say, Jim, I saw an apartment advertised the other day. Be just right for the kids. $125 a month, furnished.
Of course, that's without utilities. You know, gas, electricity, telephone.
And food. Don't forget food.
That's right. And laundry and cleaning.
Oh, they won't have to worry about that, Jim. Don't you remember when we were first married, I did all our laundry and cleaning and cooking. I'm sure Betty will want to do at least that for Billy. Won't you, dear?
I guess so.
Betty,
Yes, Billy.
could I talk to you for a minute? Privately?
Of course. Will you excuse us, please? We'll be right back.
It's all right, kids. Take all the time you need. We're in no hurry.
Are they gone?
I think so.
Jim, we did it. Yes, sir. By golly, we did it.
Oh, it was nothing, really.
Jim, stop looking so smug. What was nothing?
The psychological attack I planned for tonight. You see, I felt our wisest possible course, from a tactical standpoint, lay in a feint to their left flank and a drive through the middle. Do you follow me?
Yes, dear. Right up to the part where you started to talk.
Margaret, the whole thing is elemental.
Yes, and very clever.
We pretend to give our consent. That's the feint.
Believe me, I almost did.
Then we hit them with both barrels. The cost of living, the struggle for existence. They retire in disorder. Their armored units are smashed. Their rear guard is demolished.
What a fight.
Dear, the enemy is back.
Oh, come on in, kids. Everything all settled?
I think so, Father.
Pretty much settled, sort of.
That's fine. Now, what did you finally decide?
You know very well what we were forced to decide. We have to wait.
Why, Betty, I thought that you and Billy...
Mr. Smith, you don't have to continue the ridiculous performance you and my father were putting on.
Betty,
Oh, Father, you can be so juvenile at times, really. Apartments, $125 a month.
We know some kids have one for 45.
You older people ought to get straightened out on the simple facts of life before you start fooling around with psychology.
Jim, your mouth is open.
Oh, well, now see here, both of you kids.
Just a moment, Jim. Betty, exactly what do you and Billy intend to do?
Well, as long as our families are determined to exercise parental prerogatives, we'll just have to wait until we're financially self-sufficient. Right, Billy?
Right.
Well, I never.
Well, Betty, how long do you figure it's going to take you and Billy to become financially independent?
A few years.
Well, that gives us a little time to look around for a wedding present, eh, Hank?
Yeah. That's right, Jim. A couple of years, it's a long time. A lot of things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hector, how about another cup of coffee?
Oh, thank you, Margaret. I think I can use one.
You know, Margaret, I'm very relieved. I'm so afraid of hasty marriages.
Don't mind us, Mother. Just go on talking as if we weren't here.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. It's just that I was so afraid you were going to make the same mistake I did.
Oh, I wouldn't exactly say you made a mistake, Elizabeth. Heck's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jim.
You can send me a check in the morning.
I suppose I have been fairly fortunate. But, of course, people aren't always that lucky when they marry beneath them.
I suppose not, but when they what?
Elizabeth, we'd better go. It's getting late.
Wait a minute, Heck. What was that crack you made, Elizabeth?
Well, after all, my mother was a Stuyvesant. And I certainly...
In other words, you think Betty isn't good enough for your son?
I'm sure that isn't what Elizabeth meant, Jim.
That's what she said. Well, isn't that what you said, Lizzie?
Don't you dare call me Lizzie.
Why not? If you can say my daughter isn't good enough for that puny excuse of a son...
Now, just a minute, Jim.
Writing poetry. What makes you think he's such a bargain?
My boy has a fine head on his shoulders.
What shoulders? I've seen better heads on a small beer.
That's so.
Yes, that's so.
This is what comes from slumming.
Slumming? Now, you listen to me, Elizabeth Smith. Your mother may have been a Stuyvesant, but my father spent half his life picking your father out of the gutter.
And he wasn't lying down just because he was tired.
I think I'm going to faint. Hector, I'm going to faint.
Go ahead, dear. I'll catch you.
You ought to be ashamed, upsetting my mother with your vulgar insinuations.
Vulgar? Why, you little pipsqueak. If you were my son, I'd vulgar you so hard you wouldn't sit down for a week.
Fortunately, I am not your son. Peasant.
Peasant?
Don't you dare call my father a peasant, Billy Smith. Don't you dare.
Well, that's what he is.
He is not.
He certainly is.
Well, I'd rather be a peasant than a pipsqueak.
Don't you call me a pipsqueak.
I will if I want to. Pipsqueak.
Peasant.
I never want to see you again as long as I live.
Well, you won't if I can help
You're
it.
just an
Hector.
Just a minute, dear. Say, Jim.
Sorry I lost my temper, Heck.
Oh, that's all right. Say, Jim, that thing about... Say, Jim, that thing about picking Elizabeth's father out of the gutter, is that true?
Sure, it's true. Why?
Oh, boy. Just wait till she pulls that Stuyvesant stuff on me again. Thanks for a lovely evening, folks. Come on, Lizzie.
Yes, dear.
And, Billy?
Oh, yes, Father.
Come on, pipsqueak.
Well, we started with breakfast, and we might as well finish the same way. Let's drop in at the Hendersons at breakfast time the very next morning. The average children are still getting dressed. The average mother is racing around the kitchen. And the average father...
Jim, where are you going?
I got to rush, dear. Can't stop for breakfast. Just time to catch the bus.
The bus? But I thought you
Never
said...
mind what I said. Just tell Bud if he gets one scratch on that car, I'll brain him.
All right, dear.
I'll be home at the usual time. Be a good girl.
I'll try, dear. Oh, Jim?
Yes?
Where did you leave the car keys?
The keys? Oh, they're on the dresser. On top of Kathy's $2.
Jim?
Now what's the matter?
Remind me to tell you, you're an angel.
I'm a dope.
You are not.
I've got witnesses.
Oh, well, why should I argue? After all, Father knows best.
Members of our cast are Robert Young as Jim Henderson, June Whitley as Margaret Henderson, Rhoda Williams as Betty, Ted Donaldson as Bud, Norma Jean Nielsen as Kathy. Robert Young will soon be seen in RKO's Baltimore Escapade. Ted Donaldson may be seen in Warner Brothers' Decision of Christopher Blake. Others in tonight's cast were Virginia Gordon, Herb Vigran, and Sam Edwards. Music was written and conducted by Roy Bargy. Father Knows Best was conceived and written by Ed James. Entire production under the direction of Herb Sanford. Bill Foreman speaking.
Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie, starring Raymond Burr as Captain Lee Quince. Specially transcribed tales of the dark and tragic ground of the wild frontier, the saga of fighting men who rode the rim of empire, and the dramatic story of Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Captain Quince.
Sergeant Gorse, how are you?
Oh, it's sure good to see you, Captain. You look kind of funny, though.
What do you mean?
Well, them clothes, mufti. I ain't used to you out of uniform.
I'll be back in uniform at midnight tonight, Sergeant. We'll stay in town till then. And you can buy me a drink.
Me? I thought you was going to get rich in St. Louis.
Did I say that?
Well, you talked about nothing else before your leave come through.
Just proves you shouldn't believe everything you hear, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. I'll try to remember that.
See that you do. And to really fool you, I may go back to St. Louis.
Quit the Army?
Man can make money there, Sergeant. I don't mean gambling. I mean honestly. In an honest business. Buying things. Selling them.
Well, sir, the Army's sure no place for a man who wants to get rich. I'll say that.
The Army's no place for a man who wants to do any living at all. You're either turning black with the boredom of garrison, or you're riding hell-bent into nowhere.
It's sure enough true, Captain.
Oh, come on, let's get our drink. How's B Company, Sergeant?
Company's fine, sir. Major Daggett's going to be mighty glad to see you back at Fort Laramie.
He isn't going to see me till midnight.
He'll be waiting up. Send me into town to tell you.
Oh? Something wrong?
Yes, sir.
Well, what?
Arapahoes. They've been raiding for horses. Massacred a whole family over in the basin about 10 days ago.
You mean they jumped the reservation?
Not the whole tribe. Just a few of them, I guess. Mr. Seibert's took B Company out last week, but he didn't have any luck.
Why not?
I don't know, Captain. I wasn't with him.
What?
I've been on sick list till 2 days ago.
Sick list? You?
Yes, sir. Pack mule kicked me in the belly.
Oh. Well, a little whiskey will cure that, Sergeant. Well, here we are.
Mr. Seibert's is feeling mighty bad about it.
Your belly?
Like I said, it's good to have you back, Captain.
Bottle of rye and 2 glasses.
Coming up. The Army. Hey, Moylan. Look at what came in.
What's his trouble?
8 soldiers, I guess. Like a lot of people. Since Richmond.
Yeah, too much war, maybe. I guess everybody'd like to forget it now.
We'd all like to forget it. There's a war still going on.
You're right, sir. Who do they think stands between them and all the hostiles out there waiting to hack them to pieces? Who does all their dirty work for them?
It isn't like people to be grateful for any favors, Sergeant.
No, sir, I guess not.
When I think of the troops aching for home while they sweat and freeze and spill their blood all over the frontier for 50 cents a day, it makes me mad.
Tell me about St. Louis, Captain.
Here's your liquor, gentlemen. Hey, you! Hold it!
You know them, Sergeant?
No, sir.
What's your trouble, mister?
My name ain't Mister. It's Rudio. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to the soldier.
I'm with the soldier.
You stay out of this. You know what's good for you.
You tell him, Moylan.
What do you want from me? I never saw you before.
Yeah. You won't want to see us again after we're through with you.
What's this all about?
We don't like soldiers drinking where we drink, mister. We like to teach 'em a lesson now and then. Don't we, Moylan?
Yeah, we do it, too.
Now,
you
just
shut up, mister.
What's the matter with you? Coming in here with a soldier. Gonna drink with him, too.
Rudio, I just guess that he ain't no better than no soldier himself. Just scum floating with scum. That's what I call it. Well?
Okay. Sergeant Gorse?
Yes, sir.
You can have Moylan there.
Thank you, sir.
Move out.
I'll buy you that drink now, Captain Quince.
You can buy the first one, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
You're half an hour late, Captain Quince.
I was on the post at midnight, Major. I wanted to get back into uniform before reporting.
I'm glad of that, anyway.
I kind of figured you would be.
You still think I'm too Army, don't you, Lee?
We've known each other a long time, Major.
Since Vicksburg with Grant.
I remember a night in Chattanooga. You weren't very Army. I've forgotten the girl's name, of course.
Captain Quince, I trust Sergeant Gorse told you about the Arapaho trouble.
Yeah. They're out raiding for horses. They've slaughtered a family over in the basin.
It's got to be stopped. Settlers are beginning to wonder what the 2nd Cavalry's doing at Fort Laramie.
If this goes on, there won't be any settlers.
Hard enough homesteading this country without a man waiting for him and his family to be massacred by renegade Indians.
I'll take a patrol out in a few days, have a look around.
You'll take B Company out tomorrow morning.
May I make a suggestion, Major Daggett?
If it's in order.
Lieutenant Syberts took B Company out and found nothing. Sure, he's green, but a few Arapaho can hide easy from a whole troop of cavalry beating its way through this country. Give me 12 men. I'll scout those Indians, get them set up. Then I'll come back for the company.
No. No, it's too slow. There isn't time.
Better let me try it, sir.
I said no, Captain.
You haven't got very far your way, Major.
You have your orders.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Captain.
Yes, sir.
I heard you and Sergeant Gorse were in a brawl earlier this evening in town.
Conduct unbecoming an officer.
You should learn to control your temper, Captain.
I wonder what family the Arapahoes are putting the knife to tonight, Major Daggett.
Should never start this sort of thing with you. Take your patrol.
Yes, sir. Any further orders?
May have Sergeant Gorse and Lieutenant Syberts, but no other officers or non-commissioned officers.
Right.
Pass your men through the main gates of the post half hour before reveille. Any questions?
No, sir.
Then move out.
There's a cabin just over this rise, Captain Quince.
Ah. Must be new, Mr. Syberts.
Yes, sir. It is. A man and his family. He's raising horses.
A man's a fool. There's just as good land a day's ride from the fort.
You're right, sir.
Am I, Mr. Syberts?
Of course, sir.
What if the man likes it out here, away from people? That make him a fool?
No, sir.
Then I'm wrong.
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir.
You agree too easily, Mr. Syberts. Better learn to think for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Now, where's your cabin?
Well, you'll see it in a minute, sir. There it... No. Look, it's been burned.
Up. Sergeant!
It's those Arapahoes again, Captain.
Yes, Captain.
Look down there, Sergeant. File the patrol out as scouts, Sergeant. 1,000 yards between men. If there's any Indians around, I want to know it. The men will watch us at the cabin for arm signals.
Right, sir.
And then join Mr. Syberts and me down there. Move out.
Yes, sir.
Follow me, Mr. Syberts.
Right.
Looks as if they slaughtered every one of them.
Man, a woman, a young boy. Is this the whole family, Mr. Syberts?
That's all of them, sir.
Thank God for that.
Every one of them scalped. Even the boy.
At least they weren't tortured.
No, sir.
Tell me, Mr. Syberts, was the other family like this?
Why, yes, sir.
I see.
Made quite a mess, didn't he?
Take a good look, Sergeant. How many horses did this man have, Mr. Syberts?
About 10, as I remember, sir.
Well, Sergeant?
Funny thing.
What is?
Well, Captain, I don't know how them Arapahoes could have surprised him so fast.
What makes you think they did?
Not many arrows around. If the men had had a chance to put up any fight at all, there'd be a lot of arrows.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Well, yes, sir.
Sergeant Gorse, I excuse Mr. Syberts because of his lack of experience. But you're a disgrace to the cavalry. Ought to clean your sleeve and send you back to stable detail.
Yes, sir.
Don't stand there, Gabbin. Use your eyes.
I'm looking.
Look harder.
There ain't no tracks.
No tracks?
Somebody dragged him out with a blanket.
Somebody? Why do you say somebody, Sergeant?
I don't know, sir. There's something wrong here.
Look, how old's that boy, Sergeant?
Maybe 12, 13.
Old enough to be a brave in a couple of years if he was an Indian?
Yes, sir.
Don't Arapahoes usually keep a boy that age and try to make a warrior out of him?
They always do. No, wait. Them tracks, they wouldn't hide their tracks.
No, they wouldn't.
Captain.
Yeah?
Now I know why you got so mad. I'm pretty mad myself.
Took you long enough. Mr. Syberts.
Yes, sir?
A man wearing moccasins doesn't care about his tracks. He's got nothing to hide. Wasn't Arapahoes did this. Wasn't Indians at all. It was white men.
Whose place is this, Captain?
Oh, Jake Steele and his wife. Their daughter lives with them.
Shouldn't their daughter live with them, sir?
Ollie's 19, going on 20. She had some schooling back east.
You mean she should be married now?
This country needs women, Mr. Syberts, but it doesn't need single women.
Yes, sir.
Patrol! Up! Mr. Syberts.
Yes, sir?
Dismount and unsaddle. Dry the horses. Turn them into the corral yonder. Cache the saddles over in that brush so they can't be seen. All other equipment the men will keep.
Yes, sir.
2 men will stand by for escort duty. Move out.
Yes, sir.
Captain Quince, Miss Steele.
Well, Captain, what are you and your troopers doing out here?
I'll tell you if you ask me in.
Oh, well, come in.
Where's your family?
Well, they rode over to the Abbott place.
That's a long ride.
They're spending the night. They'll be back tomorrow. Why? Is there trouble?
No, not for you, Holly.
And what are you doing here?
I came to borrow your ranch.
What?
I need it for a few days, maybe a week.
Now, Captain,
You and your folks can stay with the Abbotts for a while. I'll send for you when I'm through here.
You seem to have it all figured out.
I have.
Of course. Shall I leave right now, Captain Quince?
Sooner the better. I'm sending an escort with you.
Well, that's very kind of you.
I can spare a couple of troopers.
And you'll move in here.
Sergeant Gorse and me.
Wouldn't you like for me to stay and cook for you?
Oh, no. You couldn't do that.
Why? Don't you think I'm a good cook?
Maybe when this is over, I'll ride back sometime and find out.
Captain Quince, Just because you and I've met once or twice at Fort Laramie
Now,
dance...
just a minute, Miss Holly. You don't understand.
Don't I?
I should have explained. There's going to be a fight here.
Fight?
I'm using this place for a trap, baiting it with a bunch of horses. And when the men I'm after come for them, well, we'll be waiting.
What men?
Men who've been stealing horses, murdering settler families, blaming it on the Arapahoes.
You mean it's white men who've been doing that?
I do.
Captain Quince, I'm beginning to understand that being in the cavalry, you're accustomed to ordering people around and not explaining anything.
I'm sorry, Holly, I upset you.
Now, if you'll wait outside while I get some things together, I'll ride up to the Abbotts with that escort you promised me.
Good.
Oh, Captain.
Yes?
I hope you have a chance someday to find out about my cooking. What I mean is, good luck.
Thank you, Holly.
Go on, get out of here now.
Well, it took me that long to do something. I'd get busted to a private.
You can still get busted, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Seiberts!
Right here, Captain.
You'll take over the patrol, Mr. Seiberts. I want you to spot the men in a complete circle around this place, half a mile out. They're to dig in. And when they think they're hidden, I'm going to ride that circle.
I understand, sir.
Heaven help any trooper I can see.
Yes, sir.
They're to let those men through. But when they hear gunfire from the cabin here, they're to kill anything that tries to get back out. Any questions?
No, sir.
Move out.
Yes, sir.
Well, Sergeant, you and I are going to be sitting on the pan of this trap.
Like poisoned meat, huh?
Maybe. Before we get off. You have to do that, Sergeant.
I didn't join the Army to be locked up in this coop for 3 days.
Maybe you'd rather be sitting outside with the real men, half buried, afraid to move, with nothing but a canteen of water and a handful of jerky.
And no smokes?
And no smokes.
Captain Quince, I never had it so good, sir.
Then shut up. Dark out already?
Good. Ain't the kind of men who'd attack even a woman in the daylight.
No, I guess not. Gosh, you lied to me.
What?
No smokes. You tried to make me think you'd find it rough out there with the troopers because they can't smoke.
Well...
You never smoked in your life, you ape. Not with that quid of tobacco in your jaw day and night. What are you trying to give me?
You need action too, Captain. Bad as I do.
Yeah, I do.
3 days of this is worse than a winter in garrison. You go to St. Louis, I'm going with you. That easy money...
Shh, wait. Come here.
What is it?
Horses. Listen.
We got him, Captain. We got him.
Okay. Move fast. Get out the back window. Come up the off side of the cabin. But don't shoot till I get at least one of them inside here.
Yes, sir. Good hunting, Captain.
Same to you, Sergeant.
Hello? Hello there. Come on, open up. We want to have a little talk with you.
Look out, Jim. He'll have a gun.
Listen, mister. We ain't gonna hurt nobody. We got something to tell you is all.
Let's fix them and get out of here, Jim.
We're just passing by, mister. Got some news for you.
Maybe there ain't nobody home.
They wouldn't leave all them horses alone, would they? I'm coming in, mister. Don't shoot now. Have your daughter light the lamp, mister. Then we can talk.
Jim. Jim. What happened?
You're next, mister.
You okay, Sergeant? Yes, sir. Well, we got two of them anyway.
I didn't realize there were more than that.
He was holding their horses.
Well, the troopers will take care of him. They deserve a little action, too.
They sure do. Who are they, do you know?
Strangers.
One inside dead?
I didn't kill him.
But you took an awful chance, Captain.
It'll be worth it. Maybe we can find out what they did with all the horses they've stolen. Maybe we can take them back.
Yes, sir. But, well, there's two families won't never get theirs. Hear that, Captain?
Mission accomplished.
No more women and kids dying hard. Feels kind of good, don't it, Captain? Don't it?
Sergeant?
Yes, sir?
Feels a whole lot better than making money in St. Louis.
Fort Laramie is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald and stars Raymond Burr as Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry, with Vic Perrin as Sergeant Gorse. The script was specially written for Fort Laramie by John Meston, with sound patterns by Bill James and Ray Kemper. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Featured in the cast were Harry Bartell, Dan Riss, and Joyce McCluskey, with Lawrence Dobkin, Clayton Post, Paul Duboff, and James Nusser. Old Man Trouble takes it on the chin 5 nights a week when Bing begins to sing, which is just dandy for everybody else who's listening in. Since Old Man Trouble has no great charm to speak of, and since Bing Crosby has an ear for melody, a cheery disposition, and many other charms as well, folks naturally prefer to spend their time with Bing. For good company and easygoing songs, hear The Bing Crosby Show Monday through Friday nights over most of these same stations.
Company, tension! Dismiss!
Join us again next week for another transcribed story of the Northwest frontier and the troopers who fought under Lee Quince, Captain of Cavalry.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeves. Each week at this time, the Kraft Cheese Company presents for your enjoyment Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeves, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But right now, here's an important message for you. Probably all of you are aware of the efforts of our government to make us a healthier, more vigorous nation by improving our diets. Yes, food, proper nutrition, is as important these days as airplanes. And that's why you should know about Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. It's not only a delicious spread for bread, it's also rich in nourishing food elements your whole family needs. Of course, most people like Parquet margarine because it tastes so good spread on bread, hot rolls, or toast. But health-conscious housewives also use Parquet because it's a protective food of exceptionally high nutritional value. Yes, Parquet margarine is one of the best energy foods you can serve. And to make its natural, wholesome goodness even better for you, Kraft adds 9,000 units of vitamin A to every pound of Parquet, making it a reliable year-round source of this important vitamin. Why not ask your food dealer for Parquet margarine tomorrow? One taste will tell you it's a superior product made to Kraft's exacting standards of quality. Yes, you'll like its flavor and you'll like its economy, too. Just say Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Last week, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, Fibber McGee's next-door neighbor, left Wistful Vista to become the legal guardian of his niece and nephew, Marjorie and Leroy Forrester, in the city of Summerfield. Relaxing after a hard week's work as father, mother, and big brother to the pair, we find the Great Gildersleeve explaining the finer points of baseball to Leroy.
As a result of that play, Leroy, we have a member of our team on each base. You understand?
Yeah, the bags are loaded.
Yeah.
Come on, gang! Yoo-hoo!
Now, Leroy, don't get so excited. Remember, this is only a baseball game. Why, you robber! As I was saying, Leroy, we mustn't give way to our emotions.
No, sir, Uncle Morris.
Yes. Let's remember to be sportsmen. Get an umpire. Always give the other fellow the benefit of the doubt, Leroy. Strike three, your grandmother.
Oh, shut up, you big windbag.
I am not. The umpire's nothing but a horse thief. Horse thief?
I'm sorry, sir, but I warned you before. Everybody's complaining.
What do you mean, everybody? I'm not complaining, am I? Hey, Jesse James, where's your horse?
We can't tolerate this any longer. Now, you'll have to get out.
All right, we'll get out. Come on, Leroy. We've seen this newsreel 3 times already anyway. Don't forget your cap. Careful stepping on people's feet.
Say, Uncle Morris, if you'll give me an advance on next week's allowance, I'll treat you to an ice cream cone.
No thanks, Leroy. It's time we go home and fix up for that tea party your sister's giving at 5 o'clock.
Oh, gee, do we have to gotta be at that sissy party?
Well, I'm afraid so, Leroy. Marjorie seems to think a lot of young Ted Wills.
Yeah, they're stuck on each other, all right, but why drag us into it?
Well, now that I'm guardian for you two, she wants me to meet Ted's parents under the proper social circumstances.
Couldn't you just bump into him someplace, like in the butcher shop?
You mean meet him in the meat market? No, I'm afraid it's too late for that. Marjorie's worked awfully hard preparing for this afternoon, and she must be all ready by now. Come on, Leroy.
Now, that's all taken care of. Oh, Bertie.
Yes, Miss Marge.
Will you please put the cake in the back of the pantry while I fold?
Yes, My, you sure works hard, and it sure is pretty.
That's my big surprise, and I don't want anything to happen to it.
County Courthouse.
Judge Hooker, please.
One moment. Hooker speaking. What is it?
Hello, Judge Hooker. This is Marjorie Forrester. You remember me, don't you?
Well, should I?
Well, of course. Just last week, you appointed my uncle as guardian for my brother and me.
I did? Who is your uncle?
Throckmorton P. Gildersleeves.
Who? Gildersleeve. 2 years in state penitentiary.
What?
I'm in the courtroom, my dear, sentencing a prisoner. What'd you call about?
Oh, I'd like to have you come to tea this afternoon so you and Uncle Mort can get to be better friends.
How can we get to be better friends when we hate each other to begin with?
Oh, now, George. I planned this as a surprise for Uncle Mort.
Oh, going to surprise him, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll come. And when he sees me, won't all of his chins drop?
Oh, Bertie, Judge Hooker's coming. Won't Uncle Mort be pleased?
And some says yes and some says no.
Oh, look at the time. I'm late for my manicure appointment.
I'll walk as far as the store with you. I got some things to pick up.
Oh, I do hope everybody will like my cake, all right.
They sure will, honey. It's just simply scrumptious.
Oh, thanks, Bertie. It's got to be good. Ted's mother is so discriminating and critical.
Yes, and she keeps her nose up in the air like she ain't been introduced to what she's smelling.
Never mind, Bertie. Let's go out the back way. It's quicker.
Oh, Marjorie, we're back. Hello, anybody home? Leroy, I don't believe anybody's home.
Doggone it, I thought we could get something to eat. It's been a long time since lunch.
Yes, at least 2 hours. Suppose we rummage around in the kitchen. There's bound to be something here.
I usually look in the pantry first.
Ah, the voice of experience. Well, here's a lot of canned goods we could open. Kitchen cleanser, tennis balls, shellac, motor oil. Just call out if there's anything you like. Crunchy cornies. Some genuine New England chop suey sauce.
Hey, what's that in the back of the cupboard, Uncle Mort?
Where? Oh, boy, a cake. Say, it's lucky you saw this. It's a honey. Looks good enough to eat.
Well, then what are we waiting for? Here's a knife.
One moment, Leroy. This cake hasn't been started yet. I don't think we should cut into it.
Oh, it won't hurt to take one piece, Uncle Mort.
Well, maybe not. But remember, just a piece apiece.
Okay, here's the knife.
Yeah. Thanks. Here you are. Is that so? Well, excuse me while I try my piece.
Uncle Mort.
Yes, sir. Mighty fine cake. That's the end of it. Yeah, stuffy in here, isn't it?
Stuffy in where?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeves.
Oh, hello, Bertie.
Oh, there you are, Leroy. Messing around the kitchen for something to eat, I speculate.
Who, me? I don't want anything to eat. Not now.
Yeah.
Good. You save your appetite for the tea party. Your sister done whipped together the most delectable cake.
Yes, we know of her, yes.
She did it because it's important to impress Mr. Will's mother that she's a good housewife. Look like Mr. Will's gonna get a house and a wife.
Oh, I see.
Yes, Miss Marge worked her pretty fingers to the bone, baking all day. That's the surprise she's been talking about.
Yeah.
Now, you want to take a peek at it? I'll show you.
No.
But she got it so beautifully redecorated.
Now, Bertie, don't go spoiling the surprise.
It ain't gonna spoil nothing.
Oh, yes, it would. Leroy, isn't there something Bertie could go to the store after?
After when?
I mean, Bertie, would you mind running down to the cigar store and getting me some Punchinillo Panatellas?
But I got work to do. Leroy can get them.
Oh, no, he's a minor. They won't sell him. I mean, here's $1. Get a whole box.
But Mr. Gildersleeves.
Hurry now, hurry. They may sell out. Remember, Punchinello Panatellas.
Yeah.
By George, that isn't a bad name for a cigar, seeing that I just made it up. Oh, my goodness, Leroy. Why didn't you stop me from eating that cake?
Boy, are we going to catch it when Marge gets back.
Yeah.
What do you say we take a short walk till about bedtime?
Yeah, that's very good. No, we've got to face the consequences.
Not me, Uncle Mort. I'll see you later.
Come back here, young man. You don't see me running away. I'm going to stick my chin out and take it.
That's not your chin sticking out, Uncle Mort.
Never mind. Leroy, we got to find some way to get an exact duplicate of that cake before that party starts. Oh, my. Who's that?
That's old lady Snoop who lives next door. She's worse than an earache, Uncle Mort.
I don't know the lady, Leroy, but I'm sure you're mistaken. I'll just see what Mrs. Snoop wants.
No, Uncle, her name isn't...
Ah, how do you do, Mrs. Snoop?
Mrs. Snoop? Oh, this is Miss Dinwiddie, Uncle.
But you said...
Oh, I'm so glad to meet you, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'm the girl who lives next door. Your niece, Marjorie, told me so much about you. I feel we're practically old friends. Uncle Mort. Is Marjorie here?
Well,
No, I remember seeing her go down the street half an hour ago through my front curtains. You'd be surprised at all that I see through them.
Yes, I see what you meant, Leroy.
Anyway, I was looking for Marjorie, but I suppose you'll do instead.
I will? Well, what for, Miss...
Dinwiddie. Henrietta Dinwiddie. With an N, not an M, and the accent's on the witty, not on the din.
What do you want me for, Miss Dinwiddle?
Oh, you'd be surprised, Mr... I just dropped in to get a cup of sugar.
Why, of course. Leroy, where's the sugar?
Where's the cup?
Oh, dear, imagine me. Oh, I forgot to bring one. I guess I'll just have to borrow a cup, too.
Yeah.
Oh, now, Mr. Gildersleeve, you'll have to excuse a poor little flustered bachelor girl.
Yes.
No, Leroy, not the lump sugar, the granulated, just like I always borrow. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, as I was saying, it isn't often that I get to meet such a handsome man with dark curly hair and merry brown eyes.
Here's your sugar.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Leroy. Well, it was so nice being introduced to you, Mr. Gildersleeve. Don't you worry about the sugar. You'll be getting it back sooner than you expect.
Oh, that old hen, she makes me sick.
Me too.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago, Marjorie showed her a picture of you, and she said you look like Ronald Coleman.
Ronald Coleman, eh?
Yeah. Can you imagine that silly dame?
Leroy, this is a free country. A lady's entitled to her opinion. Better put the sugar back. Oh, wait a minute. They use sugar in baking cakes, don't they?
Sure.
Leroy, I know how we can save Marjorie's party.
How?
Bake her another cake.
Can you bake a cake, Uncle Mort?
I don't know. I never tried. But it ought to be simple. After all, millions of women bake cakes every day. We ought to be able to do anything they can do.
Yeah, what do you mean, we? I'm not going to get mixed up in no sissy proposition like that.
But, Leroy, there's nothing sissy about baking. Look at the cowboys who bake their own sourdough bread. And the Indians grinding their own corn into corn fritters. And the cooks in the Navy making sea biscuits.
Well, I guess you're right.
Yes, well, let's get started. Should we use a cookbook or make it up as we go along?
Well, there should be a cookbook in one of these drawers.
Yeah. Here's one right here. Cooking in 6 easy lessons, or the bride's best friend. Well, let me see now. Here's one. A mocha coca tapioca cake. Sounds too complicated. Tomato soup cake with gumdrop icing.
Gee, Uncle Mort, don't they make cake out of cake anymore?
I guess not. Look at this picture, Leroy. Doesn't it look like the cake we ate?
Yeah. Lady Baltimore cake.
Yes, that's it. Now all we got to do is copy this one.
Okay, what do we do?
First, 3 cups of sifted cake flour. We got any cake flour?
Nope. Here's some buckwheat flour.
Well, I doubt if there's any difference. Next, 3 teaspoons of baking powder.
Here's a box of baking soda.
Is it powdered?
Yeah, it is.
That's what they must have meant anyway. Now, salt, shortening, sugar, half a cup of milk.
Used all of today's milk, and yesterday's is sour.
Fine. My mother always used sour milk in her cakes. It'll give it that old-fashioned sour taste. Teaspoon of vanilla and 6 egg whites.
Hard-boiled or poached?
No, Leroy, raw.
It's easier to separate the white from the yellow if they're hard-boiled, Uncle Mort.
Leroy, this is no picnic. Now, you sift the flour, the baking powder, and the salt together. Here, use this sifter.
Okay.
And I'll take the other stuff. Beat egg whites until stiff, it says. Who, me or the eggs?
Hey, Uncle Mort.
Yes?
This sifter leaks.
Leaks? Oh, yes, and look at the flour on the floor. Get some more, Leroy. Wait, I know how we can speed things up. We'll just dump all the ingredients in the electric mixer.
Oh, that's a swell idea.
Yes, it takes a man to figure out all the shortcuts in life. Let's just pour everything into the bowl. There.
Shall I turn on the mixer now, Uncle Mort?
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness, Bertie. She mustn't see this mess. I'll get rid of her. You stay here. Well, Bertie, did you get me those Punchinello Panatellas?
Not exactly, Mr. Gildersleeve. I've been to 7 stores looking for them cigars, and 3 of them was fresh out, whilst the other 4 have them in the morning.
They will, eh?
Yes, sir. Now I better be getting back in the kitchen.
Yes. Oh, no. I mean, I've got to have those cigars, Bertie.
Well, maybe after I finish my work in the kitchen.
It'd be worth $1 to me to get those cigars now.
Huh? It would?
Yeah.
Well, maybe in that case I could... what's that?
I suppose it's a truck coming up the hill.
There ain't no hill around here. Sounds like my electric mixing machine in distress. I better go see.
Go ahead if you want to lose that $3.
What $3?
For bringing back those cigars.
Does I get it in advance?
Yeah, yes. Here you are, Bertie.
Thank you, sir. I'll just go on out the back way. It's quicker.
No. Use the front door. It's bad luck to use the back door when you're buying cigars. Take your time, Bertie. Goodbye. Wow, that was a close shave.
Hey, Uncle Mort!
Oh, sounds like the boy's in trouble. Coming, Leroy.
Don't come out, Uncle Mort. Go back.
I can't hear you. What's wrong with the mixer?
It's throwing the cake batter all over the place.
Oh, my goodness. Turn it off.
I can't. I got batter in my eyes.
Well, I will then. I'm not going to be intimidated by any... Oh!
Get you in the kisser, Unc?
Right in the pan. Where's that switch, Leroy?
Watch your fingers, Uncle Mort.
I think I've got it now. Yes. Oh. Yes. Oh, what a mess. Here's a towel, Leroy. Wipe the cake out of your eyes.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, jumping jelly beans. There's that woman from next door again.
Oh, don't let her in here, Uncle Mort. She'll blab everything to Marge.
Don't worry. I'll get rid of that gargoyle. Coming, Miss Dunwoody. Ah, there you are.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, I bet you think I'm an awful pest.
Oh, no, not at all.
But I wonder if I could trouble you for an egg.
An egg?
Yes, an egg. Chicken's hometown. I know just where Marjorie keeps them, so if you don't mind...
Don't trouble yourself. Leroy, hand me out an egg, please.
How do you want it, hard-boiled or poached?
In the shell. Bright boy. Lovely weather we're having, isn't it?
Yes. It's perfect weather for a ride in the country. I just love to pack a picnic basket and go out...
Here's your egg.
Thanks, Leroy.
Yes, thanks, Leroy. Thanks very much. Goodbye, Miss Dunworthy. Goodbye.
Did you brush her off, Hunk?
No, she's walking down the steps. Let's hurry with the cake.
All we have to do is pour the batter into the pans.
Fine, but before I mess myself up anymore, I'm going to put on Bertie's bungalow apron. Help me into it, Leroy.
Oh, but gee, Uncle Mort.
Hold it up higher, Leroy. Fine. Now run around the back and tie the strings. Oop, not so tight, my boy. That's it.
You sure look funny, Uncle Mort. Uh-oh. Front doorbell.
What kind of a house is this? Leroy, see if you can get that cake into the oven. I'm going to answer the door.
Oh, but Uncle, that apron!
It's all right. It's dark in the hallway. That's right. Waste the electricity.
Good afternoon, madam. Do you sag and slump over heavy scrubbing? Have you got the dishwashing droop?
Droop?
Are you proud of the shape you're in?
Oh, see here. You nearsighted little nincompoop.
Bad cold you have there, madam. Now, I've got a girdle here that's the answer to all your prayers. It's a Gildersleeve glamour girdle. It'll keep you in, but you'll never wear it out. Yes, sir. Now, as a special inducement, I persuaded old man Gildersleeve to cut the price of this girdle to $3.99.
You persuaded old man Gildersleeve, eh?
Yeah, sure. You'd be surprised how palsy-walsy I am with the old fuddy-duddy.
Why, of all the...
I know, but you should do something about that coal lady. Now, madam, if you'd care to try on one...
No, I happen to own...
You already own a Gildersleeve girdle?
Yes.
Very good. But have you got a spare?
Mister, you'd be surprised how many Gildersleeve girdles I have to spare. Good day. Of all the interruptions. How's the cake doing, Leroy?
Oh, swell, Uncle Mort. It looks better every time I open the oven door.
Splendid. Now, who's that? A man can't even bake a cake around here. All right, I'm coming. Now, see here, you...
See what, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, hello, Judge Hooker. Come in. This is quite a surprise.
That's what it was meant to be. What are you doing in the apron? Playing house?
Yeah, that's very funny. No, I'm not playing house.
Hey, Uncle Mort, I just took the cake out of the oven.
Oh,
Oh, boy, does it look swell. Hello, Judge Hooker. What are you doing here?
Hello, Leroy, my boy. What have you and your uncle been up to now?
Why, we've been...
Nothing at all, Your Honor. Leroy, time to get cleaned up. And my, look at me. I'm a mess.
Yes.
I'll go with you, Leroy. Make yourself at home, Judgy.
But I came early just to ask you two a few questions.
We'll be back, Your Honor.
Something funny going on around here. Smells like a cake I'm smelling. I better see what they've been doing in the kitchen. A layered cake. Looks like it would taste good, too. I wish I wasn't on that darn diet. I'd take a piece. Not that one piece would hurt me. George, I believe I will. Mighty good cake. I think I'll have another piece.
Ah, there you are, Your Honor. That's a bad cough you got there. Here, let me get you a glass of water. Oh, you've been eating our nice new cake. And after I worked my fingers to the bone...
Oh, my goodness, I'm getting sick.
By George, you are white around the gills.
That cake, I ate some.
No good, eh?
Now, my pills, I left them home. You better take me there now.
Oh, why did I ever take up baking? Leroy! I better throw this cake out of the window. There. Farewell, Lady Baltimore.
Oh.
You want me, Uncle Mort?
Yes, call me a cab, quickly.
Gee, what's wrong with the judge?
I've got to take him home. He's suffering from a bad attack of Lady Baltimore.
What can I do for you, sir?
I happen to see that big cake in your shop window. I'd like to buy it.
But that's a wedding cake.
Yeah, I know, but it could pass for a party cake if we knock off the bride and groom. How much do you want for it?
Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't sell it to you.
Oh, baked it for a wedding, eh? But they'll just have to get married tomorrow.
Oh, but really, mister, I couldn't let you...
You couldn't, huh? Here's a $10 bill. Now do I get that cake?
Well, if you insist.
Never mind wrapping it. I've got a taxi outside. Just hand it here. Thanks. Now open the door, will you?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh, Mama.
Yes?
I just made a big sale. A man bought that wedding cake we've had in the window for the last 2 years.
Psst. Leroy, anybody in the kitchen with you?
No, come on in. Did you find a cake?
Did I? Take a look.
Oh, boy, that's a dilly.
Not bad, eh? Who says you can't eat your cake and have it, too?
Mr. Gildersleeves.
Oh, that's Miss Dinwiddie again.
Leroy, put this cake in the pantry while I answer the door. I'll strangle that old seagull.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, you must think I'm terrible running in and out all the livelong day.
Yes.
And borrowing things all the time. Well, it's because the road to a man's heart is through his stomach. And if that's the case, why, your road, it's so wide.
What do you want this time?
Oh, it's nothing, really. I just brought you something I baked for you with my own little hands. A cake.
Well, thank you just the same, Miss Dinwiddie. But I have a cake. A great, big, beautiful $10 cake. And furthermore, I'm fed up on cake. Goodbye. That takes care of that.
Oh, Uncle Mort, I've been looking all over for you. Come in the living room and meet everyone. I'm about to serve the cake I baked this afternoon.
Cake. Oh, yes. Marjorie, there's something deep down inside of me that's weighing heavily on my conscience.
What is it?
It's your cake. I ate it.
But, Uncle Mort, how could you?
Leroy, help me.
Oh, Uncle Throckmorton, what'll I do now?
Don't worry, honey. I went out and got the biggest and best-looking cake money could buy.
Oh, but I couldn't deceive them.
It's all right. What they don't know won't hurt them. Now, let's go in and meet the folks, huh?
Oh, there you is, Mr. Gildersleeve. Here, I got them for you.
Got what for me, Bertie?
Them Punchinella Panatellas. The man, he didn't have none in stock, but he rolled them while I waited, and they cost $8 a box.
Oh, my. More expense. Well, never mind that now. Bertie, get that big cake out of the pantry and you serve it. And remember, no matter how different it looks, that's the one Miss Marjorie baked.
Huh?
Yeah, come on, Marjorie.
Here comes Mrs. Wills.
Will?
Oh, Mrs. Wills, I want you to meet my uncle, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Charmed, Mrs. Wills. Excuse me for being tardy, but I had to take home a friend who was suffering from a sick headache.
No, I see.
Yeah.
Speaking of cakes, Marjorie, Ted has told me about the angel food cake you baked.
Angel food? Well, I thought it was more of a Lady Baltimore cake like they serve at weddings.
Oh, really, Mr. Gildersleeve? They don't serve Baltimore cakes at weddings.
Not even in Maryland? Well, no matter what kind of a cake Marjorie bakes, it's always delicious.
Oh, now, Uncle Mort.
Just wait, Mrs. Wills, till you sink your teeth into this one. Ah, Bertie's bringing it in now.
Oh, my. It looks quite professional, doesn't it?
Well, I don't believe a pastry chef could do any better. Go ahead, Marjorie. You cut it.
Oh, you cut the first slice, Uncle Mort.
Huh?
After all, if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be eating this cake.
I see what you mean. Give me the knife, Bertie. Well, frosting's a little thick. Dull knife. Bertie, haven't we got a sharper knife?
No, Mr. Gildersleeve, but we's got an axe.
Never mind, I'll manage with this.
Oh, careful, Uncle Mort, it'll slip off the table.
What? Oh, my goodness, it's made out of plaster of Paris.
The Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in just a minute. But first, I want to tell you something that should make every quality-wise and economy-minded housewife want to try Parquet margarine first thing tomorrow. Here it is. Now you can have a high-quality product made by Kraft that's so downright good as a spread for bread, toast, or rolls that you'll want to use it lavishly as a seasoning for hot vegetables, a shortening for baking, and for pan frying, too. Yes, that quality Kraft product is Parquet margarine. It tastes so good that you'll want to use lots of it at the table and for cooking. And it costs so little, you can use all you want without being extravagant at all. Yes, use all you want for baking. Remember, Parquet is a real flavor shortening that makes better tasting cakes and cookies. Here's what one user says about Parquet margarine. I'll read you a few lines from a letter from Mrs. Emma Hartman of Cavetown, Maryland. Now, we didn't ask Mrs. Hartman for this letter. She was so enthusiastic about Parquet, she just had to tell us about it. Quote, I would like to tell you how well I like Parquet. I use it for everything I want to be especially nice because of fine flavor, unquote. You see, the secret of Parquet's popularity is its delicious flavor. And housewives with an eye to food value like it because it's such a nourishing energy food that contains plenty of vitamin A. Yes, every pound of Parquet margarine contains 9,000 units of vitamin A. So you know it's not only good tasting, but good for you, too.
Miss Dinwiddie.
Yes?
Oh, you're angry. You took me seriously when I was just kidding.
Well, really, Mr. Gildersleeve.
That cake you baked for me. Some people just dropped in at our place, and that cake would just about save the day for me, Angel. A cake.
Oh, it would?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then, take it, by all means.
Oh, Miss Dinwiddie, you're an angel. I'm so happy I could kiss you.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, that is, I didn't quite mean. It was so nice of you. Say, where are you going?
In to bake you another cake.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Good night.
Original music was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeves. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter,
there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Of whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trusts. I will exercise my art solely for
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. Now, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York. The nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting fight against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, whose ministry of mercy reaches out from its quiet halls to the highways and byways of a huge metropolis.
Yes, sir, Doc. Many's the time Kildare rode with me in this ambulance. Of course, he was just an intern then, like you, before they made him a resident.
Interesting, Wayman. Well, keep your eyes on the road. Those are the police flares around the smash-up just ahead. She was unconscious when Wayman and I got there, Dr. Kildare. I couldn't bring her to.
Deep shock, Morton. She's had tetanus antitoxin, of course.
Yes, sir. 100,000 units. The leg looked pretty bad, so we rushed her right in.
Boy, I come in from Riverdale and nothing flat. You should have seen me, Doc.
I've seen you, Wayman. Nurse,
Yes, Doctor?
blood plasma. Supplement with glucose intravenous.
Yes, sir.
Morton, how long had she been lying there on the road?
At least a half an hour, I imagine. Not much traffic out there this late at night.
Too bad. Might have made a lot of difference. Know who she is?
No, sir. No identification on her.
Driver's license?
No driver's license. No nothing, Doc. She must have been doing 70 when she met up with that tree.
Nurse, has Dr. Gillespie been called?
Yes, Doctor.
Will you check again to see that he's on his way?
Yes, Doctor.
If only we could locate her family. Got to have their consent.
For what? To save her life?
I guess it almost amounts to that, Morton. We have to protect the hospital. When we go into surgery, we've got to have consent from either the patient or next of kin.
So there. You looking for me?
Oh, yes, Dr. Gillespie. This girl should be operated on immediately.
What's wrong with her?
Circulation completely destroyed. One lesion gangrenous already. Not a chance of saving her leg.
Well, then what are you waiting for?
I haven't got consent.
Why not?
Because the patient's in no condition to sign. We haven't been able to reach her parents.
Looks like we're sort of stymied, Jimmy.
Yes. No, we're not. That girl's going into surgery.
You mean you'd amputate? Without consent?
If it's the only way to save her life.
Kildare, this girl is your patient.
Thanks, Dr. Gillespie. Nurse, prepare the patient for surgery.
Good morning, Dr. Kildare.
Good morning, nurse. Oh, how's our patient?
Miss Northrop, the amputee?
Yes.
Oh, no change, Doctor. Despondent, uncooperative. Apparently no desire to overcome her handicap. It's been the same for 3 months now.
It's understandable. If I could only find someone who knows her. It's not easy for an attractive young girl to accept the loss of a leg.
You mean mentally, Doctor?
Yes. Well, that's my problem. I'll go in and see her now. Good morning, Miss Northrop.
Get out.
Oh, I've had the same greeting for 3 months.
Leave me alone, Dr. Kildare. I don't want to see you.
Miss Northrop.
Don't you understand? I hate you.
I do understand. But please, won't you tell me the name of some person you know, some of your friends?
I have no friends. And if I did have, I wouldn't want to see them.
But you'll need them when you leave here.
I'm not leaving here.
You can't stay here forever, you know. When you're cured, you must leave to make room for some other patient. Please, tell me their names.
No. And leave me alone.
Why won't you try to walk? Come on, I'll help you.
Don't touch me. You feel sorry for me. I can see it in your face.
I don't feel pity for you or sympathy. All I want is to be able to close the book on your case and mark it successful. I won't be able to do that until you walk.
How can you look at me and imagine that I'll ever be called a success?
When I look at you, I can't think of one reason why you shouldn't be. You have youth and beauty.
And on the debit side of my ledger, I have one leg. The books just don't balance, Dr. Kildare.
You'll only listen to me. You can learn to forget your problem. You will forget it in time. Now, you must learn to walk. Just work with me. Give yourself a chance.
A chance, Dr. Kildare. That's very funny. A chance to go swimming again. A chance to go dancing. I'd do a very graceful rumba, Dr. Kildare. I'd rather die.
Nosy? Nosy, Parker? Nosy!
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
Nosy, why in thunder are you always poking around here when I don't want you? And as soon as I do need you, you're off in another country.
Oh.
Didn't I tell you to get Dr. Kildare?
He's on his way now.
Well, how long does it take a man to come down 4th flight?
Exactly 1 minute, Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, hello, Kildare. Get out, Nosy.
Oh, man.
Kildare? I hear you've been having trouble with that Northrop girl in 408 again.
That's right. Who told you?
Oh, I got my spies all over the place. Got your every move charted like a rising temperature.
Don't I know? Well, Miss Northrop is difficult, all right. I've done everything to induce the proper mental outlook.
Well, she certainly seems to be well enough physically and medically.
I should have been leading a normal life by now. Every day she stays here makes it worse for her. She thinks she can hide from the world for the rest of her life.
You've done everything you possibly can for her?
Yes, and it doesn't work. If only there was some way I could make her have faith in me, believe in me, believe that what I'm doing is best for her.
I think that perhaps it would be best for both of you if you got off the case.
No. If Miss Northrop succeeds in disposing of me, I'll be only the first in a long succession of doctors.
Well, that's a good analysis.
It's not enough to save a patient's life if you also destroy the incentive to live. Amputating that girl's leg was a delicate operation that I had to perform. But getting her to accept the fact and find the ability to cope with it is an even more delicate operation. No, Doctor. Deserting that girl now would be like walking out in the middle of an operation, leaving the patient helpless on the table.
I like to hear you talk like that.
If only I knew how to get to her, win her over to my way of thinking. Must be a way. There must.
You'll find it, Jimmy. You'll find it. I believe in you.
Dr. Kildare, calling Dr. Kildare. Report to the 4th floor immediately. Room 408. Room 408.
See you later, Dr. Gillespie.
I've got every right in the world to see her. I know she wants to see me.
You want me, nurse?
Oh, Dr. Kildare.
Dr.
This man
Kildare.
insisted.
They told me you were her doctor. You've got to let me in to see her.
Whoa, now slow down here a minute. Who is it you wish to see?
Marjorie Northrop. We've been engaged for over a year, Doctor.
Where have you been for the last 3
I was
months?
looking for her. Please take me to her, Doctor.
What's your name?
Willard Mason. What's wrong with her?
She'll be all right.
Well, then you'll let me see her.
No. Miss Northrop has issued orders that no one is to see her. And the hospital has to abide by those orders.
No one will stop me from seeing her. Just tell her that Willard Mason is here, that's all.
No, it's no use. I think particularly you're the one person she's afraid to see.
What? Afraid to see me? Well, why?
Mr. Mason, she was in an automobile accident. It was necessary to amputate her right leg.
Amputate? No, I don't believe you.
You still want to see her?
More than ever. She knows how much I love her. She must know that what happened can't affect my feeling for her in the slightest.
You might consider that what has happened may have affected her feeling for you.
But at a time like this, Doctor, I should think she'd want to see me more than ever. She'd need someone to lean on.
I agree with you, but I'm afraid she won't. She resents pity and sympathy.
But I won't give her any. I'll just make believe that nothing's happened. I'll avoid any mention of her leg.
That's the one thing you mustn't do. It only makes it more obvious. You must try to understand what she's going through mentally.
I'm sorry, Doctor. It's such a terrible shock. Hard to imagine
Pardon me,
Marjorie.
Dr. Kildare. Miss Northrup in 408 is flashing.
Certainly, nurse.
Room 408. That's where she is. Right up the hall.
Yes, but no. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
Room 408. I'm going in to see her.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there. I tried to stop him, Dr. Kildare.
That's all right. We'll just wait here a minute. Come on, nurse.
Get out! I don't want to see you. Get out!
Marge, please. It doesn't matter.
Leave me alone. Please, leave me alone.
I'm sorry, but darling, we belong to each other.
Nurse.
I'll have this man removed, Doctor.
No, leave him alone.
It doesn't matter, Marge. I love you. Marge, I've always loved you.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
I'm glad you told her how you felt, Nurse, but I think right now it'd be best for you to leave.
All right, Doctor. I will. Marge.
Please. Yes. Miss Northrop, surely you know now that what happened to you doesn't matter to him or anyone else. He still loves you, and if you love him, that's all that matters. Oh, please, try to understand.
He saw me. He saw me.
Yes, he saw you, and you've lived through it. When you lose the fear that you now have of facing people, you'll have won your fight. Don't you see?
I see. I see everything. You planned his coming here to humiliate me. I hate you, Dr. Kildare. I hate you.
The story of Dr. Kildare will continue in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Dr. Gillespie's office, Nurse Parker. What? Those clinical reports on rehabilitation cases? Oh, yes. Dr. Gillespie will be sending them back to you today. Certainly.
Good afternoon, Parker. Dr. Gillespie in?
Oh, yes, Dr. Kildare. And is he anxious to see you?
Really? Trouble, Parker?
Trouble? Dr. Carew just left the office black as a thundercloud.
That's not an unusual occurrence in this office.
Dr. Carew was yelling that Gillespie had better let you off that Northrop case immediately.
Oh, I see. Thanks for the tip, Parker.
Parker, what's all the whispering for? Oh, there. Well, come in. Sit down. Now, tell me how you're coming on with the Northrop girl.
Well, Dr. Gillespie, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up on this one.
Jimmy, you don't fool me. You've never admitted defeat in your life.
I haven't forgotten that Dr. Carew ordered you to take me off the case this morning.
Kildare?
No reason why you should get in trouble because of me.
I never get in trouble. I don't need anyone wiping my nose. I'll handle my own affairs in this hospital.
Just the same, I think I'd like to be relieved of the Northrop case.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that fool Carew was just here. Laid down the law. Well, maybe just as well.
You know who'll be taking over?
Haven't assigned another doctor yet. Might drop in on the girl myself for a day or two.
Good. And you can disregard all the basic mental therapeutic treatments. I've tried. I pleaded and cajoled. I tried and appealed to reason and intelligence. I was cruel and cold. Nothing drew the slightest response.
Kildare, I've removed you from the case, but I can still ask a staff member to accompany me when I visit a patient.
Dr. Gillespie, I don't really know why I worried about you getting in trouble. You go looking for it. I'd be delighted to accompany you.
Well, how are you today, Miss Northrop?
Hello, Dr. Gillespie. What is Dr. Kildare doing here? I thought he was relieved of my case.
Well, now, Kildare is showing me round until another doctor is assigned to you. It's just procedure. I have to learn all the facts. Let's say Kildare is a guest.
Not my guest. Dr. Kildare saved my life when he amputated my leg. I preferred to die. So I'm not grateful to him for what remains of me.
Miss Northrop, since I'm no longer your doctor, may I just say one word as a friend?
As a friend?
Yes. You seem to feel you have no value in society, but believe me, you have a place. A worthwhile place, and it's waiting for you whenever you make up your mind that you're ready. The sooner, the better.
Dr. Gillespie, make him get out. I don't have to listen to him now, do I?
Certainly not. Well, you heard the young lady.
What?
Kildare, I'm beginning to get the impression that you were derelict in your duty. There's no reason for Miss Northrop to be in such an emotional state.
Perhaps I was the wrong doctor for her.
You certainly were.
You certainly were.
I tried my best.
Your best wasn't good enough.
Not good enough, Kildare. Not good enough. Do you understand?
Yes, I quite understand.
Miss Northrop, I promise you won't have to see Dr. Kildare again. Is that better?
Much better.
You know, there's no reason for you to remain in your bed. As your doctor, I recommend that you get around a little.
No. I don't want even you to see me in my condition.
Oh, I don't want you to go outside this room. I just want you to be comfortable here. Warm? Why not sit over near the window?
I won't leave my bed.
You mean you don't have the courage? You wouldn't even do it if you were alone.
You said I didn't have to listen to him, Dr. Gillespie.
That's right. Kildare, you'll report to my office when we've finished here.
All right, Doctor.
And don't you ever dare to accuse Miss Northrop of not having courage. If and when she wants to go to the window, I am sure she'll do so.
Yes. Yes. I think I'd like to go there now.
Good girl. Good girl.
There.
Now we'll just push you over here where you can get a little fresh air. There. Now, how does the outside world look to you? Going on as usual, just as you remember it?
Yes. Everything just as I... It's horrible. Horrible. Take me back to my bed.
What's the matter?
Those girls playing tennis. I can't stand it.
Well, Kildare, isn't that blonde girl down there Evelyn Williams?
Evelyn Williams?
Yes. Don't you remember?
Evelyn Williams. Yes, I do remember.
Kildare, where are you going?
I think I may have found an answer to that problem, Dr. Gillespie. I'm going to see Evelyn Williams.
Yes. You may have found an answer, Kildare.
Miss Northrop, I brought someone to see you.
No. I've told you I don't want to see anyone. You're no longer my doctor. Why do you keep coming back to torment me?
This is only a social visit from someone who has a lot in common with you.
Really?
Evelyn Williams, I'd like you to meet Marjorie Northrop.
Hello, Marjorie.
How do you do?
This is the girl you saw playing tennis on the court under your window.
I can't see that we have anything in common there, Dr. Kildare. But you play a very good game of tennis, Miss Williams.
Thank you. I was doing quite well up to 3 years ago. Almost made the finals in the women's singles. And then I had to learn all over again.
Oh? What happened?
Why, I had an accident. An automobile accident.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to me.
Yes, Evelyn was a mighty lucky girl. She was out of the hospital and around again in no time.
I've often thought how fortunate I was not to lose both legs.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned it, I guess.
You mean you actually have... Why, I don't believe it. This is another one of your tricks, Dr. Kildare.
No, believe me, it isn't, Miss Northrop. Although Evelyn certainly would fool anybody.
Well, I'm very flattered that you seem surprised, but... Well, I'll show you. Here. Look. It is. It is. Well, Margie, I understand. I was doubtful at first, too, and then amazed just as you are. No, I'm only very, very grateful.
And you play tennis as well as before?
Mm-hmm. Almost. I dance and ride, too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you think that
That you could do the same? Certainly. It only takes a great desire and a little strength of will.
And maybe more courage than I have.
Courage? Maybe. But I just got lonesome trying to hide from people. And then one day I took stock of myself. People wear glasses and they aren't ashamed. My best friend Alice wears a hearing aid and she's perfectly normal. So I said to myself, what have I got to lose? Well, here I am.
Do you suppose you could teach me to walk?
I'd be very happy to. But there's someone who could teach you much better than I if you'd allow him to.
Allow him to? Oh, of course I will. Who is it?
Dr. Kildare.
Oh. Dr. Kildare?
Yes, Miss Northrop.
You've asked me so many times to try. I think I'd like to now.
Good. Evelyn, would you help her?
Oh, of course, Doctor. Margie's very simple. There we are.
Now, stand up.
Oh, I can't. Evelyn, help me.
You'll need no more help now. Stand up.
I am standing.
Now, walk slowly toward me.
I can't.
Walk. You've been walking all your life. You have two legs just as you always had. Walk. Here.
I can't. I knew I couldn't.
Now, you did fine for the first time.
Oh, I'll never make it, never. I wasn't meant to walk again.
I can't wait all day for this party of yours to come off, Kildare.
Mason should be along any minute, Dr. Gillespie.
I feel like a fool sitting here in the waiting room of my own hospital. They'll be sending me out on an ambulance call if I don't look out.
Here he comes now.
Dr. Kildare, I rushed right over as soon as I got your message. Is there something wrong with Marjorie?
Not a thing in the world, Mr. Mason. By the way, I'd like you to meet Dr. Gillespie, our chief of staff.
Oh, how do you do, sir?
How do you do, young man? Dr. Kildare here is treating us to one of his dramatic finishes.
Has Marjorie asked to see me, Dr. Kildare?
Yes, she has.
Oh, that's wonderful. May I go in?
That won't be necessary. She's coming down the corridor to meet you now.
Marjorie. Look, she's walking. Alone.
Will. Oh, Will.
Marjorie.
Oh, darling, I'm so happy.
Kildare.
Yes, Doctor.
Don't stand there gaping like an idiot. Come on, we've got work to do.
Of course, Dr. Gillespie, of course.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. Now, once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Dr. Kildare, calling Dr. Kildare, report to the 5th floor.
Well, what are you waiting for, Kildare?
I thought I'd like to show you a little present I just received from Miss Northrop.
She sent you a present? Girl must be ill again.
Read the inscription.
To Dr. Kildare, with gratitude. Marjorie Northrop. Very impressive.
She made one mistake.
Mistake?
Yes, it should have read, to Dr. Gillespie with gratitude.
What in the world would she be grateful to me for?
You cured her.
Ah, you're talking nonsense, Kildare.
You planted Evelyn Williams in that tennis court, and you made sure Miss Northrop saw her.
Now, see here, Kildare. That's a pack of lies. Who told you a thing like that?
See you later, Dr. Gillespie.
Nosy. Nosy Parker, that's who it was. Oh, wait till I get my hands on that woman. Nosy! Nosy! Where are you?
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. The story of Dr. Kildare is presented by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor picture That Forsyte Woman, starring Errol Flynn, Greer Garson, Walter Pitchin, Robert Young, and Janet Leigh. The program was directed by William P. Russo, with original music composed and conducted by Walter Schumann.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. Dimension X. Can you predict what will come in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Some people think they can. Nuclear scientists, mathematicians, astronomers, biologists. They'll predict the shape of the future. Why? Because they make the future. Because they see beyond the known dimensions of time and space into the unknown. Dimension X. We go ahead now in time to 1965. We're on a vast concrete runway set in the desert of the Southwest. A giant metal ship stands before us, prow pointed for the stars. And in 5 minutes, the signal will flash, and it will tear up through the atmosphere to the outer limit.
Attention. Attention. Clear field for takeoff. Clear field.
5 minutes, Steve.
For takeoff.
Whatever up, Charlie.
Turn it over.
I want to go over procedure again, Steve.
Don't worry, I got it straight.
You just make sure.
Okay. I take her up on jets to 50,000, then I cut in the rockets.
No lower, or your tail blast will burn out 3 counties.
I climb 4 minutes on rockets, then start maneuver tests.
Remember that, no more than 4 minutes.
Right.
This ship isn't like those strato rockets you've been testing. She's the first one built for outer space. If she works, she can go clear to the moon.
If I'd have known that, I'd have brought my toothbrush.
Well, not this trip. Now get this, Steve. You've got power there to clear the Earth's gravitational field. But remember, after you cut in the rockets, you've only got 10 minutes fuel. If you go beyond the outer limit and don't save fuel for the return...
I know, I won't get down again.
That's right, Steve. You'll drift off into space. Get that now. 10 minutes fuel.
Gotcha.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, this project is a lot more important than that cosmic ray bomb they're testing out in the Pacific tonight.
Well, the Security Commission brass doesn't think so. I don't see any undersecretaries under anything.
Don't worry. In the long run, our ship will make the CR bomb back-page stuff. But in the meantime, it's just as dangerous. Remember, half the principles in this ship are pure theory, Steve. Slide rule stuff. If anything goes wrong, we may have to scrape you off the landscape with a soup spoon.
You have a charming sense of humor.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. We're risking your neck in this test. If anything blows, we don't want to have the next man pull the same boner.
I know, Hank.
So keep your mic open and keep talking. If anything goes wrong, we want to know exactly why. And we won't be able to ask you. Let us know before you pull every switch. Before you do anything. You got that?
Yeah.
Even if you only have to blow your nose.
All right, get those fuel lines away.
Okay, Mr. Grove.
Well, I guess that's about all, Steve.
Hey, that reminds me. Look, if Mary calls, I'm just up on a milk run. I didn't tell her today was it.
How is she?
She's okay, but she's due about now, and I don't want her to be nervous.
Hey, I didn't know the baby was that close.
Yeah?
Steve, I really ought to be sending a single man on this job.
What, and cut me out of a soft paycheck? Forget it, Hank. You know, you can't get anybody else who can take 15 G's acceleration when those rockets cut in.
Yeah, I know. It's time, Steve.
Yeah. Well, see you later. Don't worry, Hank. I'll sweat for both of us. Button her up, Charlie. So long, Hank.
So long. We'll give you the light from control.
Are you there yet, Hank?
Okay, Steve. Got you on the speaker. I'm ready to go.
Mr. Hanson.
Ready on radar, Sergeant?
Check. Mr. Hanson, you better see this.
What is it, Elsie?
Message center for Steve. Mrs. Weston just left for the hospital.
What? Hello, Steve.
Yeah.
Stand by a minute.
Shall we hold the takeoff, Mr. Hanson?
What? Oh, yes. No, wait just a minute. It's too late now.
You going to tell him?
Maybe he's got enough to worry about.
Hey, what's holding us up, Hank? Something on your mind?
No, it's nothing, Steve. I just wanted to say good luck. Clear for takeoff, Charlie?
Right.
Okay. Give him the light. All right, Steve. I'm reading you clear.
I'm at 40,000. Airspeed 600. She's running fine. Soundproofing works. There's a third-degree waiver in the AGY pressure.
Got that, Charlie?
Check.
Dead center on radar, Mr. Hanson.
50,000 now. Cutting out the port jet. Now the starboard. I'm off jets. Airspeed dropping. Opening the rocket ports. The switch sticks a little, Charlie. Oxy alcohol pressure 350. All right, now I'm advancing the ignition key. Here goes rocket one.
Steve, you all right?
Yeah. Feels like somebody slugged me with a sledgehammer. Airspeed now 1,200. Here goes number two.
Hello, Steve. Elapsed rocket time is now 4 minutes. What's your altitude? Over to you.
Speed 4,400. Still climbing. Altitude 297 miles.
All right, you're at the outer limit. Level off for maneuver test. You've got exactly 6 minutes fuel left.
Okay. Starting a 3-degree left bank. Just a little sluggish. There, it's all right now. There's a low vibration someplace. Maybe the cockpit hatch. I'm straightening out.
5 minutes fuel left.
Now I'm starting a 3-degree Hey!
What's the matter? What's wrong?
There's something up here. Something shining.
What are you talking about?
There's something above me, Hank. I'm going to chase it.
Steve, you're at the outer limit now.
I can see it plain now.
Steve, don't go any higher. You've only got 4 minutes left. You've only got...
Getting static. I can't hear you, Hank. It's dead ahead now. Going to make a pass at it. Get a good look. Hey, it's swerving to meet me. It's dead ahead now. It's dead ahead.
Hello, Steve. Steve, come in.
9 minutes fuel gone.
Still no sign on radar.
Hello, Steve. Steve, what's happened? Charlie, get out the crash squad. Tell the Army squadron to alert their search planes.
Right.
9.5 minutes gone.
Hello, Steve. Squadron. What's happened? Where the devil is it?
Charlie,
Hello.
for Mr. Hanson.
Come in, Steve.
We need a search squadron.
Come in.
No, Mr. Hanson's busy.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Steve.
10 minutes, Mr. Hanson. That's the end of this fuel.
How long's it been now?
10 hours, Mr. Hanson.
Nothing more on radar, Sergeant?
Screen's blank.
Colonel Corelli called in. Search planes are back. They didn't find anything.
Should be some trace.
couldn't have bailed out, could he?
You don't hit the silk at 4,400 miles an hour. Either went past the outer limit, ran out of fuel. Something blew, and we'll find the pieces scattered from here to the coast. Why does it have to be the best man? Always the best man.
I'll get it.
Charlie,
Yes,
Charlie,
I'll take it.
we've got to
That's
figure out
fine.
what was wrong.
All right, I'll tell him.
Something must have blown.
Mr. Hanson,
Yeah.
There's a message from Northside Hospital for Steve.
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Weston's fine. It's a boy.
Thank you, Elsie. It's a boy, Charlie. Oh. Fine. It's a boy. He didn't even know she went to the hospital. How am I going to tell Mary that?
Wasn't your fault, Mr. Hanson. Ship had to be tested.
Yeah, we'll build another one, and some other flying fool will shoot past the outer limit into space. Oh, I'm getting old, Charlie. You can remember when I used to take them up myself. Now I've got to send other men.
It's a job, Mr. Hanson.
Now I'm afraid. Every time I hear a jet go off, I jump. Every time I have to send someone up in a new model, I start to sweat.
Mr. Hanson.
Yeah?
I think there's something on the radar.
No flights scheduled in, are there, Elsie?
We have the whole day cleared.
It's coming in behind us. Here it comes over the building.
What crazy jockey is buzzing the field like that? Is that an Army plane, Charlie?
I can't see.
It's turning.
Charlie, alert the field.
I know that engine. Steve.
That's impossible.
Look, that's his ship.
It can't be.
Well, there's no other model like that. It's Steve, all right. It's coming in.
Thank God. Thank God. All right, sit down, Steve. The quicker we get this done, the quicker you get over to see Mary and the baby.
Hank.
Elsie, give the order to check and refuel the rockets. I don't want anybody in here till I get Steve's reports. Bury any calls. All right, let's have it. What the devil happened to you?
Hank, does that cosmic ray bomb still go off tonight?
What are you talking about? Straighten out, Steve. Where you been for the last 10 hours?
Listen, Hank, there's something more important.
Come on. I've got to get a report on the screen to Washington, so let's have it. I've got to know how you stretched 10 minutes fuel to keep you in the air for 10 hours.
Now, one thing before I talk.
Look,
have the
Steve.
Geiger men run over the ship before they refuel.
What'd you run into?
So help me, Hank, I don't know. But we better check and make sure it isn't radioactive.
Elsie, add a Geiger report on the standard check. Steve, maybe we better have the doc look you over, too.
No, I'll be all right. They said I'd be all right.
They? Look, son, I know you've had a tough time, but we've had this field on the alert for 10 hours. One of the Army boys cracked up looking for you, and he's hurt bad. So let's have the story. Let's have it straight.
I don't know how to tell you. Hank, I saw something up there.
At 300 miles?
I chased something up there, Hank, and I caught it.
Now, don't hand me that,
Listen,
Steve.
I was cruising along, just starting the right bank, when I spotted something. It must have been going about half my speed. It was egg-shaped and smooth. I made a pass at it, and I was coming back for another, and then there was a humming sound.
Humming?
A sort of vibration. And I blacked out. I was headed straight for it at 4,400 miles an hour. I thought it was going to be the biggest smash since Hiroshima, and I guess they were drinking that bottle.
Never mind that, Steve. What happened?
I came to inside their ship.
Uh-huh. Steve, this whole thing has been a devil of a strain on you. I'm going to call Major Donaldson from the Army base. Ask him to sit in.
Psychiatrist? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let him run his tests. He'll tell you I'm not kidding. Because, Hank, unless I miss my guess, I've just been tipped off to the way the world ends.
All right, Mr. Weston, suppose you continue your story.
Yes, let's have it, Steve. You woke up inside the ship?
Yes, and the place was jammed with machinery. Dials, blinkers. I couldn't recognize anything.
And you were surrounded by these men from Mars?
I didn't say anything about men from Mars. I didn't even say they were men. I couldn't see them clearly. They were just there.
Where did they come from, then?
Another galaxy. Millions of miles outside of our solar system. That's all I know.
You figure out where they came from.
And they came all that distance to find the Earth?
Yes.
Did they tell you that?
Yes.
You mean they spoke English to you?
No, they didn't. That's funny. Hadn't thought. They didn't really speak to me at all. They just planted the thoughts in my mind.
You mean thought transference, telepathy?
Yes, that's right.
Well, Steve, what brought them here?
We did, Hank. We rang their bell. We brought them in.
Well, how?
With our atomic explosions. Hank, that's why you've got to stop that bomb test tonight.
I'll give up.
Look, you've got to believe me, Hank. Oh, how can I make you understand?
Maybe I can help, Mr. Weston. Would you submit to narcopsychometry?
What's that?
Under proper drugs, I can put you back in this, ship. By suggestion. Then we can get a playback record of your memory pattern on the audio circuit.
And how long will that take?
Half an hour. We'll have to go over to the lab.
Will you believe me if it checks?
It will give us an accurate memory picture of what your mind reports.
All right, let's go. Hank, you gotta believe me. We haven't got much time.
You should be getting drowsy now. Count backwards from 10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 6.
He's under. Now we attach the head plate electrodes. The cortical pickup. Look out for that wire, Mr. Henson. 3.0 setting. 31.3. Now throw that switch, Mr. Henson. I have to start him off by suggestion. All right, Steve. You're in your ship now. You're in the rocket. Rocket. You're in the rocket. You're in the rocket, and you've just sighted something strange.
Now I'm starting at 3 degree right.
What's that?
Hey, there's something up here. Something shining.
His memory pattern. We're picking it up electronically.
There's something above me, Hank. I'm going to chase it.
It's piped through the audio circuits.
I'm getting static. I can't hear you, Hank.
This is where we lost contact with him.
I'm going to make a pass at it and... Hey, it's swerving to meet me. It's dead ahead now. It's dead ahead.
Now what?
This is where he blacked out. There's no telling how long, minutes or hours.
What's that noise?
I don't know, quiet.
Where? How did I get in here? What? Who are you?
Is he seeing things?
Intergalactic Patrol. What's that?
What are they saying, Steve? What are they saying?
It's about nuclear fission. They know about it. They know the danger of it. Long ago, they had wars that almost destroyed them. But finally, they learned. Now they've outlawed war.
Go on, Steve.
They patrol space. When their detector picks up an atomic explosion, they send a patrol.
What are they going to do?
They've quarantined us.
Quarantined?
They've isolated the Earth. Because we don't know how to control ourselves yet. Until we learn, we'll be a menace to the whole universe.
What is this nonsense?
How are they going to do it, Steve?
They've spread a layer out here of... I don't know how to call it. All around the Earth. It's miles deep. When there's an atomic explosion on Earth, the radioactive particles will drift up to this layer and set off a chain reaction. It'll go around the world in microseconds. And that's the end.
The end? What's he...
Wait. Yes. Yes. I understand. I've got to bring back the warning. You're going to put me back in my ship to bring the warning.
Now what?
Blacked out again. I guess that's all.
What does all that mean?
It's what he remembers.
Don't think that really happened.
No. narcopsychometry circuits produce what he remembers. It just means that Steve believes this happened.
I don't like to see this. I've seen too many top pilots snap. Steve is the best I've known. How bad do you think he is?
Frankly, outside of the presence of this well-organized hallucination, there's no sign of unbalance. May not be too serious. If he had a more plausible story, I'd be inclined to believe him.
Warning. Hank.
It's all right, boy.
Did you hear it, Hank? You understand?
Sure. We've been quarantined.
Let me give you something to make you sleep, Steve.
But don't you understand? They fixed it so that if we set off one more nuclear explosion, that'll be it.
Of course. Don't roll your sleeve down.
You don't believe me.
Now, take it easy, Steve.
But the test tonight. They're setting off the CR bomb. Hank, what time is it?
11:20.
Well, it's scheduled for midnight. Hank, we gotta stop that bomb.
Steve, let Donaldson give you the hypo.
Hank, you've got to believe me. I saw them. I got the warning. If we touch off that bomb tonight, it'll be the biggest galactic 4th of July of all time. The whole Earth will go up like a Roman candle. April 10th, 1965, the end.
Now, look, Steve, you better calm down. Don't you want to see Mary and the baby? You've got a new son, remember?
Yeah, that's just it, Hank. I want to see my son. I want him to live. If that bomb goes off, Hank, we've got to stop them.
Mr. Hanson, I think we'd better get over to the base hospital.
Hank, you've got to believe me.
Yeah, sure, Steve. Maybe there is something to it. Look, it's out of your hands. I'll put it in a report and shove it into Washington in the morning.
In the morning? There isn't going to be any morning, Hank. Don't you understand? You've got to call Washington now. Get the head of the Security Commission and postpone that test.
Now, you know I can't do that, Steve. My neck would be out a mile. Besides, this is 1965, not 45. 20 countries have atomic bombs now. What's the use of stopping just this one? The rest will keep right on popping them
Well, then
off.
we'll have to call an international conference. Can't you understand, Hank? The first one that goes off finishes us at the end. They've given us the quarantine warning.
Steve, I think you'd better go with us to the base hospital.
Look, Steve, we can call up for a detail if we have to.
All right. I'll go with you. You don't need a straitjacket.
That's the way, Steve. You'll probably feel better by morning. Let's go.
Well, Steve, tomorrow I'll drive you over to the hospital to see Mary and the kid.
Sure.
Look at the ship under the floodlights. Pretty, huh? You'll be flying her again soon, don't you worry.
Yeah, I guess so. What you doing out in the line? They, refuel her?
Yeah, we got Clausewitz coming in tomorrow from Denver for another test. Figure we give you a day off.
That's good. That's fine.
Steve, come back. Come on, Donaldson. Steve, wait.
He's heading for the rocket. Look, there he goes up.
That crazy fool. We can't get at him now. That covers armor glass.
He's waving.
Yeah, towards control. What's the radio? He means the radio. Come on.
I should have gotten help.
Oh, the radio's still hooked up here. Hello, Steve.
Listen to me, Hank. You gotta call Washington now.
Come out of that rocket, Steve.
I'll call my men. Don't try anything, Hank. They've refueled the rocket for tomorrow.
Take it easy, Steve.
Listen, you know what'll happen when I fire the rocket tubes down here?
Steve, don't.
It'll burn out every building for 5 miles. All of us in one big blast.
Steve, what do you want?
You've got to stop that bomb. You got to call Washington right now.
They won't believe me.
You make that call or I cut in the rocket. Now, I mean it, Hank. Now, hook my screen to yours in parallel. I want to see exactly what you're doing.
All right. Just don't fire those rockets.
Get going, Hank. You got 12 minutes to make that call and stop that bomb.
All right, I'm making the parallel hookup right now. Donaldson, you think he'll really blast?
I don't know. Up to now, I'd almost say he was normal, but now he's liable to do anything, Hanson.
Steve, there, you getting it on your screen?
Yeah. Now, put that call through.
All right.
Operator.
Visit screen to Washington.
The visit screen circuits are busy, sir. If you'll try again in half an hour.
This is Security Commission priority. Break in, get me a line.
Yes, sir. Just a moment, please.
10 minutes, Hank.
Listen, Steve, I'm trying.
Ready to take your call, sir.
Washington, Security Commission 3. This is urgent. I want Undersecretary Herbert Ames.
Washington 3. 1 moment, please.
Hurry, will you?
1 moment, please.
What time is it, Donaldson?
11:51.
Do you think he'll fire those rockets?
He might.
Washington?
Business screen 3. Mr. Herbert Ames, please.
That is a coded exchange. I cannot accept your call without clearance.
Get it through, Hank. Listen, Washington, put it through. This is Mr. Hanson at San Marco Air Base. This is a priority call. I'm coded.
One moment, please. I will check your code number.
Get that through, Hank, or that bomb goes off at 12.
Will you be reasonable, Steve?
Your call has cleared, San Marco. Washington, business screen 3. Herbert Ames, please.
Security Commission Ames.
Listen, Ames.
Hello, Hanson.
Ames, you got to get me to the chief.
Are you kidding? He's at the test control room.
Yes, I know, but get him for me.
What's up? You look lousy. Or is it a bad circuit?
There's no time. I've got to get him before the test. It's about the CR bomb.
I can't take that responsibility.
Get that through, Hank, or I blast.
Hey, what's going on there?
Ames, my project has a high enough rating. This is a priority A call.
What? Well, okay, it's your neck. I'll try to get him for you. He's in the control room, so you'll have to switch off your screen and speaker and go on earphones. Too much going on in there. Security ruling.
You hear that, Steve? I've got to cut the incoming screen.
All right, but don't try anything. 8 minutes, Hank.
Hello. Hello. What?
You got him, Hank?
Yes. This is Hanson at San Marco. No, sir. Priority A request to cancel the bomb test. No, I'm serious. This is deadly serious. We sent the X2 JTR up today to the outer limit. We uncovered evidence. Yes, on the automatic instruments. What's that? No possible chain reaction. No, I can't tell you the whole story. There isn't time here. Yes, I'll bring the readings into Washington in the morning. You've got to postpone the test till you see them. Look, I've worked on contracts for the commission for 10 years. Yes, I have complete confidence in my information. You can record that. All right, I'll call you back immediately. Bye.
Hank?
He's agreed to cancel, Steve. The bomb won't go off. All right, boy. You can come down out of that ship.
He's opening up. Here he comes.
All right, Steve. Come on down.
Sure, Hank. Just a second. Hank, I was scared. I was plain scared.
Easy now. It's all over. The bomb won't go off.
Thank God. Look, I want to see Mary and the baby. Can you get me transportation now?
Oh, wait a minute. It's almost 12. They won't let you in the hospital now.
I want to see the baby.
Sure you do, but you've been under a strain. I've got a shot for you here, Steve. Give you a good night's sleep. All right. Roll up your sleeve.
Yeah, here.
There, that'll make you sleep. Sergeant will find you a bed.
Yes, sir. Come on, Mr. Weston.
Okay. Good night, Hank. I'm kind of beat. It's been a tough night.
It sure has. I thought for a minute he was going to blast those rockets and send us all to Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Quite a stunt getting the ray bomb test called off.
It isn't called off.
But the chief said...
Ames couldn't get the chief. I was talking to a dead circuit. Bomb goes off in a couple of minutes.
Oh. Poor Steve. He was one of the best.
He was the best. 1 in 10 million.
Some story of his, poor guy. For a while, he almost had me believing that quarantine. That's a very common delusion. End of the world.
Yeah, I suppose so. Ah, it's a nice night. Never saw the stars so bright.
We better be getting in. That wind is cold.
Well, the bomb goes off in 30 seconds. Poor Steve.
You know, Hanson, there's just one thing.
Yeah?
It's outside my field, but I'm curious. How did he keep that ship in the air for 10 hours with only 10 minutes fuel?
You have just heard The Outer Limits by Graham Dorr, an adventure in time, space, and the unknown Dimension X.
Now, about next week. Have you ever heard of the Mark III, the amazing electronic brain at Harvard that instantly solves the most complicated scientific problems? Suppose you had a mechanical brain like that in your house, a robot that was always at your service, so that you could just sit with folded hands and relax the rest of your life. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Perfect. That's what they thought when it happened in the year 2006. But they were wrong, terribly wrong. How? I'll tell you next week.
Tonight's story, transcribed on Dimension X, The Outer Limit by Graham Dorr, was adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Joseph Julian as Steve, Wendell Holmes as Hank, and Joe DeSantis as Major Donaldson. Your host is Norman Rose. Music was by Albert Berman. Sound designed by Sam Monroe. Edward King directed.
Tomorrow, here's Sam Spade. Now it's Truth or Consequences on NBC.
Even if you brush in a rush, Brist Fluoride Toothpaste starts instant action against tooth decay. Brist, B-R-I-S-K, Brist.
When you are late and in a rush to clean your teeth, do you really brush or do you just brush in a rush? Brist cups protect you from decay, start instant action right away. Even if you brush in a rush, Brist Fluoride Toothpaste.
You should brush your teeth thoroughly, but when you have to, brush in a rush. Brist Fluoride Toothpaste starts instant action against tooth decay. Helps strengthen tooth enamel on contact. Instantly destroys most bacteria that cause mouth odor and decay.
Even if you brush in a rush, Brist Fluoride Toothpaste.
No answer yet, huh? Try him again.
Afraid it's no use, Mr. Powers. We haven't heard a peep from him since he reported his motor cut.
I said try him again.
Yes, sir. Metropolitan Airport to Andrews in 601. Metro calling Andrews in 601. Go ahead. That's no use, sir. We can't get a word.
Get Summers in 630. Find out if he's seen anything yet.
Yes, sir.
Maisie,
Yes, sir.
get A hangar. Find out who serviced Andrew's ship before it left and send them into my office. You get Summers?
I'm trying now. Metropolitan to Summers in 6:30. Metro to Summers in 6:30. Go ahead.
Summers to Metro. Summers to Metro. Go ahead.
I got him, Mr. Powers.
Good. Ask him if he's seen anything of Andrews.
Metro to Summers. Chief wants to know, have you sighted Andy yet? Go ahead.
Summers to Metro. Visibility up here very bad. Flying 3,500 feet. Raining. Very dark. Nothing yet.
Get his location.
Metro. Metro, what is your position? Go ahead.
2 minutes south Twin Peaks. Country very rough. Don't dare get much lower. Can see Beacon on Sentinel Hill from here. That's all.
Twin Peaks and Sentinel, huh? All right, tell him to come on in. You get that mechanic, Maisie?
Yes, sir. He's on his way, Mr. Powers.
Get the directors of this airline down to my office right away. Get them out of bed if you have to, but get them down. Send that mechanic to my office when he comes.
Yes, sir.
Metropolitan to Summers. Chief says come on in. Don't take any chances. Here's the weather. Visibility about half mile. Ceiling 200 feet. Surface wind 30 miles.
All right.
The mechanic is here, Mr. Powers.
Show him in and get his service record out of the file. I want to see it.
Yes, sir. This way, please.
You're the night mechanic in A hangar?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Fitzgerald, sir.
New man, huh?
Yes, sir.
Who hired you?
Roby, sir.
Field operations manager, huh? How long have you been with Transamerican?
About 3 weeks, sir.
Did you service Andrew's ship tonight before he started out?
Yes, sir.
How?
Well, I gave it the usual inspection, sir, just like always.
Did you check the mags?
Yes, sir. Why? What's happened?
I'll tell you what's happened. Andrews was bucking this storm over Twin Peaks when his motor cut on him. It's the last we've heard.
Motor cut?
That's what I said. He radioed that much to us, and that's all we've had from him.
Gee.
I guess you know that makes the third ship we've lost in 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
And they're all out of A hangar. I guess you know that, too, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You're the man that's responsible for those ships, Fitzgerald. 3 ships. $80,000 worth of airplanes in 3 weeks. All 3 on your shift, out of your hangar. What's your explanation?
Well, I don't know what to say, sir. I gave them all the standard inspection. Mags, switches, lines, tanks. Everything was all right, sir. They turned up when they left here.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're fired.
What, sir?
I said you're fired.
But Mr. Powers, don't you think that's just a bit...
Hard? Why is it? I'll show this entire organization that I don't intend to put up with inefficiency around here. Lord knows the aviation industry is having a hard enough time as it is. Transamerican is going ahead, and we can't do it by losing planes. That's all.
But, sir, how do you figure it was my fault?
I don't want to argue this matter with you, Fitzgerald. We've lost 3 ships out of your hangar in 3 weeks. The pilots all said the motor cut out on them. You were paid to see that the motors performed.
I did my best, sir.
Your best wasn't enough. That's final.
Yes, sir.
Tell Maisie to come in as you go.
Yes, sir.
Anything from Andrews yet? Now get Roby out of bed. Tell him to call out all the men on the night shift. Give them cars. Tell them to scour the country this side of Twin Peaks. Andrews probably bailed out.
You wanted me, Mr. Powers?
How'd you figure that out? You get those directors on the phone?
Yes, sir. All except Mr. Kirby. His phone didn't answer. They said they'd be right over.
Good. Summers is up looking for 601. I had him called in. The minute he's down, send him into my office.
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Yes, sir. There's a young lady outside to see you. She's been waiting.
A lady. What she want?
She wouldn't say, Mr. Powers. Her name is Delroy.
Delroy, huh? Well, send her in.
This way, please.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
I'm Irene Delroy.
Well, what about it? What do you want?
I want to talk to you, Mr. Powers.
Sorry, Miss Delroy, I'm very busy. Call for an appointment tomorrow.
I'm sorry to inconvenience you, but I want to talk to you tonight. It's business.
It's 10:45. I have an important meeting. You'll have to wait.
Sorry, Mr. Powers. I'm sure your board of directors won't mind waiting a few minutes when they find you're dealing with the government.
The government?
Yes, Mr. Powers. I'm from the Department of Justice. Trans-American lost its third ship tonight.
How do you know that?
Details are out of place at this time. I want to know where this ship was last reported.
Well, just why should you or the Department of Justice be interested in our ships?
The department is not interested in your ships, Mr. Powers, unless your ships carry government mail.
I see. Well, you have nothing to worry about. They'll find the mail in the wreckage.
I don't doubt that. But I rather doubt if you find the $30,000 in government securities, which was included in the shipment.
What?
Your ship carried $30,000 in negotiable securities tonight.
You mean to say that...
I have said nothing other than that. 8 days ago, a similar shipment was carried. Your ship crashed, the mail was recovered, but the shipment was missing.
Why was no report made to me at that time?
That has no bearing on this case. 21 days ago, you lost another plane. Included in the mail shipment was $5,000 in currency for an upstate bank. It was not in the mail when the wreckage was found.
You mean that our ships are being deliberately wrecked?
You may draw your own conclusions, Mr. Power.
No, that's number 630 coming in. Send him to look for Andrew. I hardly know what to make of your story, Miss Delroy.
I rather expected it would surprise you.
Mr. Temple and the other gentlemen are here, Mr. Powers.
Oh, send them in. My directors, Miss Delroy, you'll remain?
Yes.
Good. I want them to hear your story. Good evening, Temple. Mr. Hardy, Lewis, come in, gentlemen.
What's the meaning of this, Powers? What's up? What's so all-fired important that you have to get us out on a night like this?
Don't start spouting about the weather. I've had my hands full tonight. Gentlemen, Trans-American has lost another ship.
What? I
thought that'd bring you around. Now find chairs and sit down.
What ship?
One of the new fast mails, our latest low-wing job.
Why, we just took delivery on that ship last month. Why, we stand to lose...
$30,000.
Why, my God.
Not only that, gentlemen, we stand to lose our mail contract with the government.
Why, then we get out of business. Our contract? Powers, I demand an explanation.
Well, don't burst a blood vessel. You'll get it. You'll get all you want. I want you to meet Miss Delroy from the Department of Justice. It seems that they want an explanation, too. Miss Delroy, these are the directors of the Trans-American Airlines. Tell them what you told me.
There's little to tell as yet, gentlemen. The department has reason to believe that your ships are being deliberately and very cleverly wrecked by a ring of mail thieves.
Why, that's impossible. On what does your department base its contention?
On the fact that all 3 of the ships which your company has lost in the last 3 weeks carried government securities which were easily negotiable. And on the fact that all ships were lost within a radius of 1 mile of each other.
Where did we lose the fast mail tonight, Powers?
Somewhere between Twin Peaks and Signal Hill, according to Andrew's radio report.
You remember, gentlemen, that the other ships were lost at the same point.
Miss Delroy is right. What did Andrews report?
Didn't have time to report much. Said his motor cut on him, that's all. He was in bad country. I suppose he bailed out. We haven't found him yet.
Say, Andrews was piloting those other ships when they cracked, wasn't he?
That's precisely why I called this meeting tonight, gentlemen. Andrews is our oldest pilot, possibly our best. I'm going to let him and every man connected with the dispatching of the eastbound planes go. I honestly believe the only way we can wipe out this thing is to clean house.
I hardly believe that will solve your troubles, Mr. Powers.
What do you mean?
Whoever is responsible for your troubles will not let trivial things stand in his way. If you want to see your ships carry through on schedule, you must cooperate with us to apprehend the criminals.
Well, how do you propose to go about it?
Well, I've made no decision along those lines as yet. I merely want you to assist in placing all information that we may need before us.
Well, certainly. You'll find that we're...
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Powers.
Well?
We just got a call from the State Highway Patrol over near Kingman that they just picked Andrews up on the highway. He's okay, sir. Bailed out.
He's okay, huh? Well, tell him to bring him in. I presume we want to hear from him. Right, gentlemen?
As always, thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure to present you with some of the classics of the golden age of radio. Please come back next week. We'll be here between 8 and 11 Central Time, October 8th, 2023. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.